We're live. Hello, everybody.
Live.
Welcome to Ian and Kyle's stream of Versus System Incorrectly, also known as FixTheChat.com. I am your host, Ian, and this is your host, Kyle.
I am the other host. My name is Kyle.
We've now sort of settled into our every other week streaming schedule, which is a kind of a new development. Again, that's because Ian is playing Dungeons and Dragons on the alternating weeks now, and I love you guys, and I love you, Kyle, my co-host, but I haven't gotten to play D&D since college, and I'm having a heck of a lot of fun doing it, even though it's not like the perfect D&D experience. It's perfect enough for me. Hi, Chris! Chris is here! Chris is probably also playing D&D tonight. He likes to do that on Fridays. I think that's why he's going to be reliably part of our stream henceforth.
So tell me a little bit about how your game went last week. There was some joy.
Yeah.
I think I remember some of it, but it was a good story.
I'll give you like the 5-minute version, or hopefully less. We don't need to dwell on what's going on in Ian's Dungeons and Dragons campaign on our Versus System stream.
I mean, talking about games to some degree.
Sure, we do. We do often talk about games, and Dungeons and Dragons is a type of game.
It's a game. Yeah.
So we are playing a module. We're playing Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. And 5th edition is something I'm new to. The last time I really played any role-playing game very seriously was back in college, which is quite a long time ago for me. Would
that have been
13 years? And that was, I think we were just starting to do 3.5, as I was, I think my last campaign was a 3.5 edition campaign, and it was a Dungeons and Dragons campaign. So, in that time, I haven't really been involved in any games that lasted more than a session or so, but I'm now involved in one that has been going on for 2 weeks and seems to promise to continue to go on, and it seems also like everybody involved is having a good time, so I don't see any reason for it to fall apart. Most of the games I've played between now and then have been sort of like, hey, let's get together and play D&D, and we'd play for one night, and everybody's like, that was awful, we should never do that again.
Right.
So it's better than that. I am exaggerating slightly because I was in for a period of about probably 4 to 6 months a D20 modern game that was actually like the rule set was D20 modern, but the setting for that game, I'm talking about everything except what you asked me to talk about. It was a
You're taking it where it needs to go. Yeah.
It was a fantasy setting, like a medieval fantasy setting, using the D20 modern rule sets, and the D20 modern is basically like D20 is. Maybe Chris can even help me with this, or Casey if he shows. D20 is kind of the basis for Dungeons and Dragons as a system. It's a different system, but it's like, let's formalize these Dungeons and Dragons rules for rolling and resolving checks and whatnot into its own system and then make it generic. That's what D20 is, and D20 Modern is, this is the version that applies to present day setting. So we were using those rules to run a medieval fantasy campaign that was basically Dungeons and Dragons, and that went on for a whole. Like I said, I was part of that campaign for 4 to 6 months, but I joined it in the middle. I joined later than all the other players, and there really wasn't good cohesion among the group in terms of what we wanted to get out of the game, and by that I specifically mean what I wanted to get out of the game was very different than what the existing players wanted to get out of the game, so we never really gelled. And I stuck around because, it
was D&D.
Any port in a store.
Right.
Oh, Chris is filling us in. D20 was 3.5. Basically, it has a long history, spawned from lawsuits, and it's not going to try to explain it in Twitch chat. But it's a long and storied history, and it's similar to, but not quite Dungeons and Dragons, I guess is the point. So yeah, I played in that game, and it was terrible, and it kind of fell apart, and we won't speak of that again. But I'm in a new game, which is 5th edition, and I really like 5th edition rules. They're very familiar. They're basically, the interleaving edition, 4th edition, was kind of a big departure from Dungeons and Dragons. It was like, well, what are kids into these days? Well, kids like MMOs and video games. So let's try to formalize some rules that play similar to that, but also set it in the D&D world and use the basis of the D&D rules for that. So that was my understanding of 4th edition, which may be unfair because I only played a single night 4th edition session.
Right. What was your impression?
And that didn't feel very good because I like in my role playing, I like things to be, fantastic elements are fine, but I like them to be grounded. So, for example, I understand something like I can cast a spell, I can channel mystical energies. What I don't understand is I get a bonus to my roll once a day that refreshes, that has no grounding. Right. It's just a feature of the rules that applies to me because I'm special.
Well, and to that point, I mean,
there was a lot of that in 4th edition.
Right. I mean, it's more a mechanics-oriented experience than a true role-playing experience in a sense, because I feel like for role-playing to work in the most literal of senses, what you're doing is you're saying, here's a world and we're applying mechanics to the world, rather than here are some mechanics we're applying a world to the mechanics.
Yeah.
And one of those is going to just be a different experience.
No, we're playing Versus System, Casey. So 5th edition it has some of that. So don't mistake my position.
Right.
There's still some of that fluffy, ungrounded stuff that I don't like about 5th edition, but I feel like it took it backed off from what was a huge departure in those terms in 4th edition and found the middle ground, maybe even a little closer to the classic rules. So to me, it feels like 3.5 edition with a little bit of that sort of video gamey stuff that's there if you want it, and you don't need to engage with that part of the game. But it's very simplified compared to 3.5. It feels like a very streamlined 3.5, and I'm really enjoying that.
Oh, that's interesting. I want to comment on that briefly and say that, some people appreciate just raw complexity in the role-playing systems, but I think, in a sense, when you streamline something like that, you leave more space for improvisation.
Yes, and I agree with that, and that's the kind of thing I like. Like, I'm my approach, and I hinted at this when I was talking about the campaign that I didn't enjoy. My approach is a lot, the rules should serve the storytelling and the characters and the players, not the other way around. And to your point, streamlining the rules sort of facilitates that. And there are more even abstract systems that are popular now, such as Dungeon World is a good example, or Burning Wheel, that are really sort of like, here's some broad strokes rules about how to resolve role playing, and the rest is up to you. And I've been in a couple of those games, again, single night sessions, but I think that's like, it might even be too much for me, but that's kind of the direction as I've grown as a player that my role playing is sort of developed, and I'm enjoying that more and more. I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments.
And I'm eating ramen.
Yep. So you ignore the topic? Why? Do you want to jump in? Do you want to express unpopular opinions? Do you want to express popular opinions? You're certainly welcome to. We're terrible at it, but we want to engage with the chat.
Well, and I will add, popular opinions could be unpopular around here, thus being paradoxical.
Kyle's question was, though, which I still haven't answered after rambling for 5 minutes or so, is what happened in your last session? So that was sort of the setup for how to answer that question.
Right.
So
I do want to point out that you did observe how you wanted to make sure that your answer stayed under 5 minutes.
Yes.
You proceeded to prolong.
Well, I haven't gotten to my answer yet, so my answer will be less than 5 minutes.
No promises. And I'm entertained. I'm eating ramen. Right, like things are happening. We're progressing. We're enjoying ourselves. But that was hilarious. So thank you.
So we're playing a module. So a canned adventure that is called Tomb of Annihilation. And please, audience, if you know anything about this module, don't share it with me, because I prefer to be surprised about what we're going to encounter as we encounter it. But in some very broad strokes, I'll tell you the narrative hook for the Tomb of Annihilation, because it'll explain what's going on in our world, or in our last session. So the narrative hook is, something has happened. Something terrible has happened in the entire world of Forgotten Realms.
Sounds terrible.
This thing is what people are referring to as the Death Curse. And what it is anyone who has ever been magically resurrected from the dead is starting to lose whatever powers were keeping them magically resurrected from the dead. So those who have been resurrected are starting to
slowly die,
decaying, and rot and fall apart.
Yeah.
And
sort of Dorian Gray. catch up.
That power, those spells and whatnot, and rituals that priests and whatnot can cast, no longer function. So something has drastically changed in the world of magic in that regard, and that's already a little like outside of the grounding I like, because I like my camp. Like for me, magical resurrection should be like an extraordinarily rare, and astonishing experience.
The implication is
the setup
the whole world is decaying.
Oh yeah, everybody and their uncle's been resurrected like 3 times, but it's really terrible because it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is what's going on in the world, and we, the adventurers, get hired by a former adventurer who is resurrected and is experiencing now this second,
shall we say, setback,
death.
Yeah. Second death. Yeah,
well, that's a term I just coined. That's
okay, all right, okay, not an in-game term necessarily.
And she says, well, she did some research. She talked to some, Forgotten Realms people who I don't know really well, and they think it's related to an object or person or device called the Soulmonger, and that this Soulmonger is located on the continent of Chult. The continent of Chult is Forgotten Realms, Africa. Just to give you some sort of understanding of what's going on.
The general...
Oh boy, I may have... Casey wrote a lot, I may have missed some of it. He may have written enough that it's scrolled off.
I think you're okay. I think that first one is... So you can read up on that a little bit. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It's funny because as you're telling me the setup of that story...
Oh no, it isn't too hard. We had speculated that, so... We are worried because this may be not so much a, like, role-playing is fun, let's role-play, more of a kill your players if they don't declare the right actions kind of experience.
Right,
and what Casey has just said makes me think that it might be more of the latter. So anyway, we're on this continent of Chult, which is Africa.
So not being involved in the campaign, it's incredibly interesting that what Casey has said would indicate that to you, given the fact that you've had experience playing it currently. So it's just
we're early. We're very early, and we're moving very slowly. We have a lot of players, and that's part of it.
How many players are actually in your group?
5 players and 1 GM, which is more than I usually am comfortable with. And it's working okay. Sadly, it gives us some kind of imbalanced player dynamic, because some of us are quiet and some of us are vocal and active.
Right.
And I think everybody's having fun, but I worry about the quiet players being involved.
Right. Some people do get on the roller coaster for the ride.
Oh, yeah, well, maybe they're playing the same kind of adventure. So anyway, we're on this continent. It's Africa. We're trying to find... We don't know where it is or what it is. We just know it's there.
It's a thing.
We're trying to find it out. Soulmonger is the name of the object. We did some
person or thing.
Session 1, we did some research, and we're like, okay, here's a couple of places in the continent where we could explore, and we hired a guide. And, important story element that just sort of sets up the failure I'm about to lay out. Is that obviously our benefactor, her name is Sindra Sylvain, is pressed for time. Mm-hmm. She's fallen apart. She needs us to act quickly.
Right.
So we hired a guy. We discovered some areas the previous session, we might want to investigate. We hired a guide. The guide said, all right, we'll take you to these locations. If you want to travel quickly, you should travel on the river using a canoe.
Simple enough proposition.
And in between sessions, the entire party sort of had this discussion like, well, really, none of us are suited to this kind of travel. Like, this is a bad decision for each character in this group for various reasons, but it is consistently a bad decision.
Right.
But we need to hurry, so we should do this to help Sindra. So we spent half of the money the party had to buy a couple of canoes, and we met the guy down by the river, and we're like, all right, we decided to do your canoe idea because we're in a rush. How do we use these canoes? And he went, I don't know. So
that's cool. I just sell the things, man.
Yeah, like we started sailing down this river in these canoes, and 2 hours outside of town, we encounter some rapids. And when I say we encounter the rapids, I mean half the party is out of the boat, half of our gear is at the bottom of the river, and that was in and of itself not so bad until the crocodiles started eating people.
Yeah, a bit of a downer.
The first person who went down was, of course, the healer. So I mean, that's basically the long and short of the most eventful stuff that happened on that day.
Right.
But it sort of outlined the tone of how our adventure has been going so far. Which is to say, we're still alive, we're still intact, we're still making progress, but it's been a comedy of errors and disasters, one after the other so far, which makes for rather good role-playing experience.
Right. Well, I mean, the role-playing campaign where everything goes utterly smoothly is either too by the book or uninteresting or both. Right.
Right.
You role-playing is like in life. Who someone is how they act when things don't go according to plan.
Sure, absolutely. And so our last session was basically a day's worth of travel down the river in this manner, and that was not the last time some of us were in the river that day. We did lose some of our gear, but we managed to recover most of it. We didn't lose our gear again. Well, actually, that's not true. I think Baboon stole Kevin's soap.
Whoa.
But yeah, like, and I'm having a blast. Like, this is fantastic, and one of the things I've been talking about with Colin, I talked about with Chris a little bit, is partly because I've been removed from this experience for such a long time, and partly because I'm not really a fantastic role player, or at least that's how I perceive myself. That could be dead wrong, but I feel like I struggle with it.
This is role player imposter syndrome.
Yeah, role player imposter syndrome. I'm an imposter at being an imposter.
Whoa! I can't even parse that.
I tend to write up. I tend to start a session. I've talked to Kevin a lot about this lately. I tend to want to start a session with a character that has a pretty defined personality and background, because that helps me play the character during the session. And that's one of kind of two approaches you can take, and I think that's the difference between, so far in our group, the vocal people and the quiet people, is that the vocal people took that approach, and the quiet people are more of the, well, I'm going to make sort of a template, a vessel for a character whose personality will be defined by the actions we encounter during the course of the game. And I think that's an equally valid way to do it, but I think that I'm not good enough at improvising to play a character that way. But I mentioned that because I've been doing a little writing about my background, and that turned into a ridiculous, inappropriate amount of development of this character.
I was going to say, a little writing?
Well, it started as a little writing, of course, but then I kept feeling compelled to, fill in holes.
Starts as a biblical epic.
That's not a biblical. It's like 12 pages. That's not a ton.
You sent me an entire multi-sentence paragraph dedicated to the science of a bear trap or something.
It wasn't a bear trap. I had to make clear why it wasn't a bear trap.
Ah, yes, touche.
So I've been spending a lot of my free time doing that, which is why I haven't been uploading our YouTube videos of our streams, and I apologize for that. I did manage to get stream number 50 up this week. I sent it to Upper Deck. I didn't hear anything. No, we're not famous, but we don't do it for the fame. We do it for the fans.
We do it for the fans.
But that's a good segue. I was actually going to. I didn't think we were going to talk about this much, but I did want to show. I bought a nerd satchel for all my D&D books.
Ooh, that's what
real fancy.
I was going to ask
purchased
about
it this week. Well, I wanted to bring it in for a couple of reasons. Kyle lives in kind of a shady neighborhood, and I don't like to leave valuable things in my car. But look, Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Look at that. Nice. That's a nice nerd satchel.
Yeah, it was not very expensive either. I am worried it'll not be sufficiently large soon.
That is a risk. That's a risk with storage mediums you purchase, not necessarily due to the limitations of the storage mediums, but the fact that there is no gaming thing that I've seen you jump halfway into. When you reach the point of the nerd satchel or oversized cardboard legendary box, there's no stopping you from that point forward.
Oh, I take issue with the last thing Casey wrote, which is that 5e is book light. Which is, like, you can function without books. That's true. However, more than in previous editions, first of all, their books are quite a bit more expensive than when I purchased them last time. And more than in previous editions, they're releasing tons and tons of content that feels like important beginner content. Like, not like expanding on things. So, for example, initially it was Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, Monster's Manual, pretty standard stuff. And then they recently released this thing called Xanathar's Guide to Everything, and it was just kind of like, here's some expanded rules and other options you could take. But it really felt like
the door.
I don't. It was probably the cats.
It could have been the cats. I need to put this away anyway. So
Okay,
You keep
it's
talking.
kind of like having looked at the content in there. It feels like the rest of the Player's Handbook, Monster's Manual, and Dungeon Master's Guide.
Hi, honey.
See, it was a cat.
It was a cat. I knew it was a cat.
Uh-oh. I think our stream froze again. Hang on. Can you guys see or hear us?
Oh, did the
I
stream
wish.
go
Yeah, we're having
crazy?
that trouble again.
Last time we did this, it caught
Let's see.
up.
I was able to fix it by doing this. Did that work? Yes. We're live again. It's not called the Guide to Everything. It's called Xanathar's Guide to Everything. Xanathar is a beholder crime lord that runs the city of Waterdeep, I think, or something like that. I'm not really familiar with the lore of Forgotten Realms, and I'm kind of glad it makes it more of an exciting discovery experience for me. There are some players in our group who would prefer to know everything about everything and are actually doing a lot of research in that regard, and I think they're spoiling their own fun, honestly.
That doesn't seem like what you want. I guess there's an argument to be made for determining what would be common knowledge for the characters. Like, if I were just a person in this world that hadn't researched a bunch of stuff, what would I know?
Yeah, sure. But I actually worked into my character a reason not to have much common knowledge, so it works great.
The famous Tombo.
Yeah, Tombo. Tombo is the name of my character. Maybe I'll share his backstory in the description of this YouTube video when I upload it in 6 months.
That would be bold. I'll be returning. I'm shouting from over in the kitchen area. I'm going to pour myself a beverage. You need a glass of water?
No, I'm still working on this drink here. I think we're okay for a bit.
All right.
What else should we talk about? So Kyle is nearly done with Titan Quest.
Yep.
And I know this because he's been playing Slay the Spire nonstop for about 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's about right. Maybe 3. Could be 4.
I'm betting that he's not going to go back to it, but we'll see. He's promising to prove me wrong.
Yep,
But
I swear
it's going to be kind of a tall order, especially because
It's getting tougher.
he is not yet to the aforementioned terrible content.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that terrible content. I really am. I'm starting to wear a little bit thinner on Slay the Spire, and not to say that I have no regrets. I've had a lot of fun with the game, but I'm starting to run out of experiencing new scenarios.
Sure.
Um,
I hope you're coming in on here. I'm agreeing with you. Might just be me. You do vote. What do you project? You do project pretty well.
Though I'm like turning around and putting things
Yeah,
in the fridge
yeah,
as
yeah.
I'm talking. All right, coming back over. Though I'm still utterly baffled by your experiences with the rogue. I've tried.
I am utterly baffled by your experiences with the rogue and the warrior. It's kind of fascinating that Kyle and I have had literally the opposite experience.
It is amazing.
With
I actually
this,
really
with
like
this game, which is I had said and continue to feel that it's difficult to make a build with the warrior that can complete the game. And I don't mean that it's difficult to make an effective build with the warrior. It's actually quite easy to make an effective build with the warrior, but it's difficult to make one that can
finishes
survive the final encounter in the game, because the warrior tends to be good at dealing damage and not very good at stopping damage.
That's true.
And I have found that the rogue has kind of a slow start in the game. That's a fair criticism, but has such an improved capacity for avoiding damage that even though he is incapable of dealing large amounts of damage, he can get through the game quite easily. And Kyle's position is the opposite of mine.
Yeah, it's funny. I joke about this a little bit, but my view of the rogue is that my first impression anyway was that I felt that the rogue was not particularly effective at dealing damage, nor was the rogue effective at stopping damage. The rogue was very good at poisoning things slowly and then dying while those things fail to die from low amounts of poison.
Well, all I can say to that is you aren't effectively using his tremendous capabilities to avoid damage.
So I will say this. My ratio of rogue attempts that make it to the final boss has increased. And I had a couple where it was like, well, I got 8 cards in my deck. I only need to draw one of those 3 defensive cards to survive this next attack, and I will win on the following turn. Nope, I drew the 5 other cards in my 5-card hand. I think that's happened twice, and it's kind of annoying. But, and then there's like, it's a roguelike, so there's different final bosses that you can encounter. And there are some bosses which are worse for some builds, and I seem to always encounter a very particular boss when I do a very particular build, and I don't necessarily want to talk about it extensively as other people might play it, but there's, I would say, a hard counter to the Shiv build that is awful.
It's not a hard counter, but it is a counter.
It's a counter.
Yeah, that's fair.
But
like legit, cards on the table. I feel like there was a window. As with all roguelikes, as you unlock things, or roguelites, as you unlock things, the pool of things you encounter as you play grows, which actually has in this game the effect of reducing your ability to effectively
build to a
particular
I agree.
Focus.
Right, I agree with that.
So there was a window where I would say my success rate with the rogue was about 50%, and it has since gone down a little, but it's still pretty high. I'd say 1 in 3.
50%.
And in the
for the warrior, I think I'm 1 in 25.
For the warrior, I have about a 1 in 6. I would say.
I think so. For the rogue, I might have beaten it a second time. I might have gotten 2 W's out of my 30 attempts. But the warrior, I'm probably at 1 in 3 to 1 in 4. Which is not as good as your rogue ratio, but it's still pretty solid. And it's funny, I've been playing predominantly the rogue in an attempt to decipher the riddle.
Yeah. Like what I did was,
right.
I started the game
and
first.
You locked all the stuff for the warrior.
There's an unusual circumstance because I played the game at Kyle's house on Kyle's computer.
It was the beginning.
To show him the game.
You jerk.
And he purchased the game and began playing it, but Steam was confused enough that Kyle resumed playing from where I had shown him the game.
Yep.
Which means that he had some, and it wasn't a ton, it was probably less than half, but it might have been close to half of the content unlocked. So the way the unlock works is you start with the warrior, and as soon as you play a game, you get the rogue, and then each session you play with the warrior and the rogue fills a meter towards unlocking more cards.
A class-specific meter.
A class-specific meter for either the rogue or the warrior, depending on which you play,
right.
Which is where I was going to go with that. And when I started to play, I played the warrior, I didn't succeed. I played the rogue, I didn't succeed my first play. And I played and kind of ping-pong back and forth, and then I started succeeding all the time with the rogue. So I stopped playing the rogue and focused on the warrior and played 30 games back to back with the warrior, trying to figure out how to make the warrior work. Which sounds like you're doing the opposite thing.
I'm doing precisely the opposite.
It's so funny.
It really is kind of weird.
And by the way, for anybody who's considering playing the game, that's kind of a bad approach because then I got to a point where I had unlocked all the stuff with the warrior and still had tons and tons of unlocks to do with the rogue, which I felt was an easy class, so it was harder to be interested in making those unlocks happen.
To some degree, you gain the benefit of the more you unlock, the harder it gets because of the difficulty in focusing.
Yes, I'm definitely not in the 1 in 2 win ratio any longer. But
so in between my rogue plays, on occasion I'll go back and pop into a warrior match just to relieve all that tension. And I played, I think of my more, I played 2 this past week and I beat 1 and did not beat the other of warrior plays. But both times I made it to the last guy, and the one I won was utterly absurd in that way. My deck was I did turn that down a bit. It's still going, I guess. My deck was 15 cards, which is quite small for people wondering. I think that's starter deck size or close to it. Starter deck 12.
So Kyle removes a lot of cards and I do not, which is kind of interesting.
And that could still, maybe I just have to get over that for the rogue. Maybe part of it is I just have to not do that, and that it'd be funny, but that could be the whole thing. I've tried. I can't do it. I need to get rid of those cards I don't want. But
they're not bad. Nothing is bad.
You're crazy.
They're not great, but they're not bad.
But I need great or I'm dead with the rogue. They just fall over and die. Whatever. So, but I had this one, and I it was a. I can't remember what the core. So the core attack cards I had Headbutt, which is sort of a pop cards that you've recently played back to your current draw cycle. It was a deck cycle card. I don't remember the name of it. Like what? Pommel Strike. So it's like you hit and you draw. And then it was 2 limit breaks and 2 of the strength boosting cards that are like...
Jesus!
That deck was crazy.
Jesus!
That deck was crazy.
Well,
and I had 1 Reaper in there.
That's kind of the strategy... Like, that's almost only the strategy I've succeeded with the Warrior at, which is build up your strength so quickly that you can deal damage so quickly that it doesn't matter that literally you can't survive 3 rounds with the final boss.
Right. That particular fight, like...
I did watch the video. It was kind of awesome.
Yeah, the last 2 turns of that fight were... The boss I was facing, I forget which one it was, but he actually broke through my block finally and was... Because Warriors just has tons of block.
He does not.
Through
that is a lie.
The block.
You're going to confuse our viewers. They're going to be like, "Oh, Kyle must have been thinking of the rogue." When
right? maybe I've had it backwards all along. Broke through my block and did me like 40 damage, which brought me down to 40 health because I had full health for the whole fight, as I had for the entire 3rd dungeon because nothing could touch me. And then I'm like,
because you were playing the rogue,
of course. Yeah. And so then I'm like, oh yeah, and so I pop Reaper. Which is a life gain plus damage card, and deal him like 300 damage, kill him, and back at full health. And it was just like absurd. It was utterly absurd. It was this that to be fair, that was the silliest deck I have ever built. That was also effective. But yeah, I still have not gotten a reliable anger build. We talked about that a little bit in a previous one.
and unfortunately that's one of I think that's a basic card. I think there's no unlock required for it. So it really feels like that's supposed to be the default warrior strategy, but it doesn't feel like you can succeed with it. It feels, and again, the warrior is good enough that I consistently, and you will consistently get to the final boss, but you just cannot survive enough damage.
Right, as is with the rogue. I like I said, my percentage of getting to the final boss has gone up, but it's still not a guarantee.
No, and it's a roguelike.
Sure?
Things go off the rails.
Sure.
You can't piece together stuff you want. You get unhelpful relics or whatever.
For what it's worth, I almost feel like my rogue playthroughs, like I see pieces that will work. I can't for the life of me get those pieces to align. I can't do it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to play a poison build because I got some good poison cards in the early parts of the dungeon. Cool, setting it up. And then, like, the first major relic I get is the kunai or something that's, like, attack-oriented. And I'm like, well, I picked the wrong build. Do I now build around the kunai? No, you keep going with poison, and you never get another poison card, the whole freaking thing, and it doesn't show up in the shops. The shops are... I'm going to the shops, and I'm like, there's 5 cards I can buy in the shops.
Just so I understand, and to explain for our viewers... Kyle is saying that the rogue is a difficult character to play, an ineffective character because of the random number generator.
Yeah, yep. Well, I mean, so to be fair, I guess what I'm saying is, if I were to be technical on it, I would say that the number of pieces that I need for a rogue build to work is slightly higher than the number of pieces I feel like I need for the warrior to work. And I'm always able to adapt and find, find effectiveness in the warrior cards, even in decks that aren't that way, but that don't fit a particular theme. But for the rogue, I just feel like some cards are really, really unuseful unless you get the right setup, which I'm okay with. But those setups are so hard, and I've gotten pieces of them, and they seem cool and interesting. I did have once.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
if you would buy relics instead of removing cards from your deck,
Maybe.
because you get a choice of 3.
You do. I've done that a couple of I would say I've looked for opportunities because not all the relics are clear build arounds where you're like this fits a theme. Some certainly are. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a.
That's not gonna work.
Yes, dear. Yes. I did have a deck with the rogue that worked. Got me to the last boss, even though I lost it. That was it was the crazy thing that we talked about, and it got me to the final boss. It was like the deck cycle, stacking, discard powers. So the rogue has cards that are like, when you discard this card, stuff happens.
You made the discard rogue
I
work?
got to the last boss.
That's impressive. I always wanted that strategy to work and have not been able to make it work.
I got 2 of...
It's a cool strategy.
It's really fun, actually. It was super engaging.
But I feel like its pieces are very disparate.
Yeah, they are. You need... And I felt like I could have made the build a little better if I'd committed to it earlier on.
Yeah, well, and that's the other problem, is you kind of have to commit early, and you may not commit to the right thing to get the cards for later.
A really critical piece of that deck...
But that affects the rogue less than the warrior because of his innate powers.
Because of the extra cards that you get in the early game.
And a lot of his cards are generally useful cards like drawing or having more energy. And that sort of thing, and that supports any strat.
I guess that's true. What I ended up... I think the ultimate linchpin of that deck is... I think it's called like Be Prepared or something. It's like a backpack picture. That card is amazing in the context of the deck. The card is...
Draw 1, discard 1.
Yeah, and when upgraded, draw 2, discard 2, which is absolutely essential.
Did you have the dice one? What's it called?
You know what?
That's the one I love.
The dice one is great. The dice one's like... it's discard your hand, draw your hand again.
Yes.
Which is super valuable when you trigger things on that. I didn't get it the whole way, and then it came up on the second to last loot drop, and there wouldn't have been an opportunity to upgrade it. And it actually costs you a card if you don't upgrade it. And so I backed down from it. I don't think it would have made.
What does it cost? It costs you an energy, I think. And it goes from 1 to 0. I think that's the upgrade.
I think maybe I had recalled the upgrade being,
or maybe it might exhaust. It might go from exhaust to not exhaust.
My memory of it is so you play the card, discard your remaining hand, and draw equal to that. I think the upgrade is discard your hand, draw that +1, so that it effectively replaces.
That might be another card that's. So Kyle has been playing longer than I have, and this game is in early access.
There's a lot of patches.
Things are changing, and this might be a situation where the card is slightly different in Kyle's experience.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, let's wrap that up.
Yeah,
we'll get
we
into
can play some
cards.
verses.
But final thoughts. Fantastic game.
It really
early access. Go check it out.
Really is.
There's no reason not to.
It really is.
It's a good experience.
Absolutely worth your time.
I will mention very quickly. I don't have to tell my crazy old man story, but we are going to see Book of Mormon tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll give you our thoughts on that
in a couple
2 weeks from today. Yeah.
That's right. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a fun time. It's been a little while since we saw music. What was the last one we saw?
Hamilton. We saw Hamilton.
That's right, Hamilton.
About a year ago, too.
An exceptionally notable one, which I forgot for some reason. In the heat of the moment. But yeah, Hamilton was wonderful. So I'm looking forward to Book of Mormon, which I expect to be funnier than Hamilton.
I'm sure. Yes. Naturally.
Mm-hmm. Hamilton, not a comedy. I have some decks.
Although, it
had some laughs.
It had funny moments.
It had some funny moments. I would say not a comedy, had some funny moments. Yeah. So I do have some decks here, as though we've done enough of the... I feel like we haven't mangled the English languages sufficiently as we normally do, so
really?
I have to make up for that.
I'm so tired.
I know, you're letting me down here. Too much proper English. This one, okay. The deck that you have selected is this one's the S deck. We're opening with S's tonight.
All right.
I don't know how you cull your deck to 2 cards.
You
got to have certain question mark.
Yes, that is true. If you watch the video, like you see you don't watch him play. He edited it
right
so that
you can
only
see the
major important
steps,
things that happen are shown, and even some of those are sped up. But he shows you how he got to every part of that.
Right.
And yeah, it was like every time he stopped, he called a card, and every time he had an encounter where he could call a card, he called a card, and he had an abundance of encounters where he could call cards.
Right.
He also there is a tool that lets you do it at rest spots.
Right. I have gotten that. Yeah, the peace pipe. Yep. It's a lot of culling.
It was. But he had cards. I don't remember where he was. It wasn't halfway through the game. It might have even been on the first floor that he had an infinite combo.
That's absurd.
Like a turn one consistent infinite combo, and then he built it into just a 2-card deck by the end.
Jeez. Right, because why not? A 2-card infinite combo. There's a point there where you have to avoid question marks, because there's the one question mark that's like forces you to get rid of something.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want that one. He probably ran into that one on the way.
That was part of the problem. Is like he had like a bigger he had supporting cards, and he hit one of those, and he's like, oh, I guess I gotta get rid of the supporting card, which didn't make it it didn't break the combo, but it made it a slower combo. And then he's like, well, I may as well just remove the rest of the cards and make it funny.
Yeah. Yep.
Stop talking about.
Do you remember? I just wanted to know though. What do you remember? What the 2 cards are? Was it Rogue or Warrior?
It was a Rogue, and importantly, it was a generic card. I don't remember the name of the card, but there's a generic card that is 0 cost, deal some damage, draw a card. Which is all you need. Like, you can have a deck with just that card, and it will work. And I don't remember what the other card was, and it's almost irrelevant.
Right. That's pretty clear. Pretty clear. The only thing that gets you is anything that can have spikes. Prickly. Alright, I'm done. It's good. Good chat about Slay the Spire and miscellaneous other topics.
And what I really love is, and this just gives you a tone of the community relationship with the developers. Like, this guy did the thing, and the developers were like, oh my god, everybody, look what this guy did with our game.
Yeah.
And I love that that's how they reacted.
It's what you want. I mean, that is I guess if you've got to do early access, it's certainly the right way to do it.
So I'm going to roll the inner die. And I have one. And this is Anne. This is Anne Evans' deck. Oh gosh. That's a risky keep, but I should keep it.
Yeah, I empathize with that concern. I am going to keep.
Am I going to be dumb?
Oh boy.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
I'm doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live.
This is not reassuring so far.
You said you are evens?
I said I was evens, yes.
I don't have a 1-drop.
Okay. I have to think.
What is happening right now?
When Apex comes into play, I may search my deck for an equipment card, reveal it, and put it in my hand and shuffle my deck.
Oh no.
I will search my deck for...
Oh no. This could be a questionable matchup, we'll see. Maybe not. I guess there's things that could go in my favor.
I think I have to search for the Helm of Naboo. You know what I forgot to do?
Nope.
There was a mod to this deck I was going to make. Based on my review of our video of our 50th stream, which was the last time I played this deck, which was out of order for my bag sort, which is why it came up so soon afterwards.
It's alright.
And that was I wanted to add one more Helm of Naboo to the deck.
Can never have too many Helms of Naboo.
Really can't have too many Helms of Naboo. I don't know why I'm doing this. Yes, I do. Alright, so this goes into my hand. I'm not going to play it on Apex, so it's going to hit you for 1.
Alright, I'll take the 1. I'm unfazed by your 1 damage. I just don't even know what to make of this. It's all kinds of weird. Who does this matchup favor? I don't understand. Yeah, I will pass and do some card drawing. yeah, now it's over to you, Mr. Evans. Ian is contemplating in a thinker-esque pose. Who knows what will happen here? Boy, that's a lot of thinking for turn 2.
Shush.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God! Why? All right.
Why is the question?
I'm gonna activate Apex to play Tech Upgrade. As an additional cost to play a Tech Upgrade, exhaust character control, search your deck for an equipment card, reveal that card and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. I will go get, I think, the Amulet of Nabu.
Naboo.
Let's not bother with shuffling yet.
Right.
Noted. I'm going to equip the Amulet of Nabu to Apex. It says, equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts. Your character gets +1/+1 for each Fate artifact you control and has flight and range. I'm also going to equip the Cloak of Nabu to Apex. It says, equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts. Equipped character gets +1 defense and cannot be the target of effects your opponents control. And finally, I'm going to equip the Helm of Nabu to Apex, which says, equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts and gets +1 attack and gains the identity Dr. Fate. And when the Helm of Nabu comes into play, draw a card for each Fate artifact you control, and then discard a card for each card you drew this way. So I will draw 3 cards and then discard 3 cards.
That's cool. So you should shuffle.
I should shuffle. Yes.
It's okay. I mean, the order. This did not cost us time to have you do that first. So he's plus. Sorry, he's plus what? Plus what?
He is +4/+4.
That's a big ape. And those are all a +4/+4, and can't be the target
of effects and has flight and range and is Dr. Fate.
And it's one crazy monkey.
He's an ape. She's an ape.
Is that right, Apex? Is she?
Take a look. It took me a really long time to see the nature of Apex, but it is in fact a woman in a dress that is.
Whoa! That just blew my mind. That's a dress.
It looks like an ape kind of standing behind a table or something. No,
that's an ape in a dress wearing the armor of Nabu.
She. That is. I'm gonna discard. I might discard the 3 cards I just drew. I do. How odd.
Deck cycles, how it goes. Lordy.
But that's it.
Right.
I have 5/5 Apex, Dr. Fate.
I'm with you. 5/5 Apex, Dr. Fate exhausted. Well, I have Beast. Beast has evasion. He also has backup. Activate. Target character you control gets -2/+2 this turn. Use only during the build phase. I'm not going to use that, and then I'm not going to attack when you pass.
Okay,
sounds
sounds good.
Giant monkey.
I got a giant monkey. All I want to be, someone who gets to see a giant monkey.
There aren't adequate words for that, I don't think. This is interesting. Well, it's my initiative now.
Mm-hmm.
Did I actually read his backup power?
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay. Well, I do have a 3-drop. She's concealed. It's Hellcat. Concealed backup. Activate. Target character you control gets +2/+2 this turn. Use only during the build phase.
I have to play a resource. Thereafter, I will recruit Barbara Gordon Oracle. Barbara Gordon Oracle's power is free, draw a card.
Right.
Use this power only once per turn. I would like to free draw a card.
Yeah, you should do that.
Okay. That's interesting. I'm going to... What am I going to do?
Boy, I sure don't know. I sure don't know.
I'm going to exhaust Apex to play Tech Upgrade.
Tech upgrade.
I'm going to search my deck for Helm of Naboo,
A Helm of Naboo.
which I'm going to equip to Apex.
Now, wait a minute. I've got to ask the question. Oh, interesting. Are these not unique? These are unique.
They are unique. I will KO the existing Helm of
I
Naboo.
see. Of course. Okay, okay.
Where
Okay.
on Earth is another Helm of Naboo?
Don't have any
Come
more.
on,
That was
Helm
all the
Naboos.
Helm of Naboo.
And this is why I want to put another Helm of Naboo.
You only have one in the deck.
No. Here's a Helm of Naboo.
Naboo!
So this helm gets KO'd. This helm goes on Apex. I draw 3 cards and discard
Wait a
3
minute.
cards.
Something is
After
not
I-
right.
Oh, oops.
You lost an amulet. I like there's a certain novelty to the seriousness with which we take some of the core fundamentals. For example, instead of just taking the Naboo helm that you had and putting that in the KO'd pile, you felt the need to make sure that the one that really was on
What was
Apex
KO'd?
was that one has to be moved, and the replacement identical card. But that's because
Honestly,
of our
I'm tired
nature.
enough that it didn't even occur to me.
No, I think I would have done the same thing, even if I had been well rested, and that is a thing that I enjoy. Let's be between those. There we go. That's where I want.
No, that's the one I want to do, so
Yep,
it's going to work out well.
Well, we're in agreement then.
1, 2, 3, and then discard 3. Let's see how we did. This is a keeper. This one I want.
That one you want, yeah. Keep that one.
That's not terrible.
Sure.
I may do that. So what does that mean?
Stuff.
This is definitely a drop. Maybe I can do this.
I'm with you.
Oh God, do I have to do that?
You might.
It's that or that.
The thing that I enjoyed about you doing that is I don't think the mic will pick up the cats.
No,
It'll
that's
just pick
alright.
up
Just
you
make
doing
me weird,
insane sounds.
Yeah.
There we go.
There's
There it
some
is.
mangling.
There it
will
is.
pick up me making weird sounds. Is English.
Is English.
I'm gonna do this. All right. These are the cards that I discard.
Good choice. Those cards.
Now what? It's your initiative.
Yeah. Do I want to fire any backup powers? Always a good question. Sure, probably. I'll just fire all. I'll fire my bad. Beast is gigantic defensively. That'll show you.
Oh, you're not doing anything.
Oh,
All right. I will activate Barbara Gordon to play invasion plans.
yep.
As an additional cost, and I may do this only during my attack step, to play exhaust your character control, draw 2 cards. Why?
Well, there's 2 things that give me a chance, which is 1, you're not getting what you want, and 2...
I don't understand it. I've gone through so many cards.
Yeah, it's part of the charm.
And there's like, there's an obvious thing I want, but there's like
Yep.
a couple of plans B that I would accept.
Yeah. I'm with you. So now it's your initiative. That's cool.
Yep. So this goes here. That's
Good
the
call.
right thing.
Good.
I'm going to activate 3, draw a card.
Ooh, good choice. Excellent choice.
That got weird. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is substitute Barbara Gordon for Barbara Gordon. And then I'm going to activate 3, draw a card.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Yep. then
Yeah.
I'm going to recruit Punisher.
Okay. All right. Well, did you just draw him? Did you just get
I
him?
did just draw him. Punisher can be equipped with 2 equipment, while Punisher is equipped with more than 1 equipment. Whenever he stuns a character, KO that character. I'm going to equip the Punisher with the 10 rings.
The 10 ring.
A deck can have up to 10 cards named the 10 rings. Equipped character can be equipped with any number of the 10 rings. An equipped character gets +1/+1. I will reveal that my resource is Dr. Fate's Tower. When I flip Dr. Fate's Tower, I may discard a card. If I do, search my deck for a Fate artifact card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. I'm going to do that. I'm going to discard a Punisher to go get a Helm of Naboo.
Number, the 10 ring. Yeah, it's real good.
Lord. Helm of Naboo. Backup, activate, transfer all equipment on a character control to another character control. Uses power only during the build phase.
I wonder how this will go.
Okay, so Punisher is now Dr. Fate and the Mandarin.
He sure is.
And he's got also 2 more 10 rings.
Lows and May. So how big is
so
each one is effectively
+7 +7.
Right. Okay.
And he stuns anybody, or he KZOs anybody he stuns.
And he's got flight range.
He's got flight and range.
And
He can't be the target of effects, and he's Dr. Fate.
And he's Dr. Fate. Right. Well, that's cool. That's cool. It's only 3 turns ahead of curve. Whew. Well, that is unfortunate. How do I make this not awful? It's going to be very difficult. Right. I'm going to take some beats. So, I guess the right play is to 14. That is just too large. Too large. That is too.
This may be. We'll see. It's not worked yet. This may be the time this deck is as scary the whole way as it's supposed to be.
This is pretty alarming. Well, this is a rough situation because, of course, backup usually relies on like one big attacker.
Yeah, me too. So we'll
yeah. Except yours always KOs mine.
Double firearms though.
Yep. So how do I not immediately lose? I have a couple of options, none of which save me, which sucks. So I want that. You want that. That way it deals you a little bit more damage. So I'm going to recruit Samantha Parrington Valkyrie. She has backup activate when target character you control next attacks this turn. Ready it. Use only during the build phase. Is that the right choice? Probably. And then I'm going to give her... We'll give her +2/+2. And -2/+2. And also, when she attacks this turn, she readies.
I'm confused by what you're doing.
It's fine. Don't sweat it. So she is -2/+4. And also, when she attacks this turn, she readies.
Okay. I don't understand.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Going to attack Beast?
Sure. That's an option. That's an option.
I will reveal that I have a Checkmate Armory.
Oh, really?
Equipped characters I control get +1 attack. There's another power. It's not likely to ever come into play. It will if I recruit Sasha Bordeaux, which also is not likely a thing that's going to happen any longer.
Seems less likely. Yeah, I mean, that'll work. I'm going to take plus 1 attack, so I take 14.
It's 15 attack.
Right, which that's 14 and Beast is KO.
Okay.
That's all right. So I accept. I will pass. Pardon me.
I too will pass.
I too will pass. I accept.
Let's draw. I would like to draw a card.
Yeah, that can be done. So he KOs anything he stuns?
Mm-hmm.
Sure wish it wasn't anything. But it's anything, as it turns out. My initiative. I'm going to recruit Brunhilde Valkyrie, as opposed to Samantha Parrington Valkyrie. Brunhilde has other characters you control have reinforcement while exhausted. Also, Brunhilde has invulnerability while other characters you control are exhausted. And I will form like this, I suppose.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. I actually do want her as an attacker.
Okay.
Okay.
So, what I do is I will reveal that I have Wayne Enterprises, which I'm flipping now because I may flip Wayne Enterprises only if I control a Gotham Knights character, and I'll forget to do it later.
True.
Should I lose my Gotham Knights character?
I'm with you.
At the start of my formation step, I may transfer target equipment I control to an unequipped character I control. I can also activate it
Start of your attack step.
at the start of my formation step.
Oh, formation step. Okay.
And I may activate it so that target equipped Gotham Knights character gets +1/+1. I think actually, I don't even know why I played that. It was fun.
You would have forgotten later, I'm sure.
Well, no one else will be Gotham Knights except for her.
Right.
And I was thinking I could do that on anybody. That's why I played it.
Right.
But the other powers are not relevant. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a Helm of Naboo on Dr. Fate here. I'm doing it the correct way, as we discussed.
Mm-hmm.
To draw 3 cards and discard 3 cards.
As you would do.
Alright, this one. This one. This one.
Right on. Rattle.
And I have 3 more 10 rings for Punisher.
That's a lot of 10 rings for Punisher. And how many can you have in your deck?
10.
You have drawn a lot of your 10 rings.
I have.
So how big is Punisher now?
So he has 6 10
17?
rings, and he's +4/+4, so he's +10/+10. He's a 17/17.
Jeez. +1 from...
+1 attack from
18,
Checkmate
17.
Augury?
Lord. Well, that's cool. That's real cool. I'm with it.
Let me know if I'm encroaching on your territory there. I can arrange these these equipments a little differently.
Well, okay, so I got to decide any backup powers I'm going to do. We're going to... Yeah, I don't think Brunhilde's making it through the turn, so how do we do this? I guess I could team attack with those two and do some stuff. I've seen more compelling options. I guess I'm going to give 5 cost Brunhilde an additional 2/2. And then when that 5 cost attacks, shield ready once per turn. And I'm going to attack Apex for 12.
I will take 12.
Yeah. Let me show you these. As a reminder, other characters I control have reinforcement. She has invulnerability.
I'm going to attack 4-drop Valkyrie.
That one is the one with reinforcement. But it's still not a bad play because 4-drop Valkyrie is scary. Yeah, that'll work. I take 4 damage and I'm KO'd. Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
I too will pass.
You too shall pass.
I will not be recovering the Apex.
Probably a good choice.
I don't know how to do this.
Just
It's
you
too
can
much.
set them to the side. Have the
Yeah.
character and have the equipment heap. And it's your initiative. Right. We'll add that to the list of things I wish was not the case.
I'd like to draw a card.
You should do that.
Got options, and that's weird.
Yeah. You think that's weird? Wait till you see my turn.
That's the play? No, that's the play. It's so weird.
I feel you.
It's weird to do this and not follow it up with anything. I'm going to recruit Dr. Fate, who circumstantially is not very useful. Other characters I control get +1 attack for each equipment equipped to Dr. Fate. Equipment I control in all zones has concealed option.
Characters you control get what?
+X attack, where X is the number of equipment equipped to Dr. Fate.
I don't know if I've ever seen you fire that. That's actually really interesting. Cool.
So, hypothetically, I could back up and transfer 10 rings to Dr. Fate. Punisher's attack would not go down at all, but his defense would go down drastically.
Right. And his ability to KO would be removed.
Yes. No, because he's still got the 3 Fate artifacts.
Oh, because you could...
Transferring
just bring the 10
all
rings.
of the equipment to Dr. Fate, it transfers one at a time, and it will prevent some of the equipment from transferring.
Oh,
So Dr. Fate can get either the Fate artifacts or the 10 rings, but not both.
Oh,
Punisher is the
interesting.
only character that can have both.
Huh. Fascinating. I am
I
going
think it's better
to...
for them to be on him.
Yeah. I'm going to recruit... Lord.
Maxwell Lord?
Yeah, so you see, there's the stuff and things, and I was going to do that, and then you did that. And as strange as this is, concealed Dr. Fate over there is making me rethink precisely how I wanted to do this.
Whoa.
That's really bizarre. I was not anticipating this. I could do that thing, which is cool and all. How would it avail me? I think it's the wrong choice. I think I gotta do this. This turn. It's just terrible, Ian. I'm going to recruit Quasar.
Quasar, oh goody.
Wendell Vaughn, Quasar. He has a backup power as a 6 cost. Activate. Target character you control gets +4/+4 while attacking this turn. Use only during the build phase. So I need to think about that for a moment. So we're now at the point where we do backup activations.
Mm-hmm.
We'll call this my formation, such as it is. Which is great and all. So much stuff that you have, Ian.
I don't think I need more, but thanks for mentioning that.
People encouraging you to have more 10 rings.
He's explaining how to subvert the I can't equip everything to everyone rule.
Oh, Lord. I must think very, very carefully about what backup powers I opt to activate at this juncture. So awful. Really awful. It's your initiative. Your dude is still an 18-17, a mere 18-17. Right. So that leaves me 2 options. I can do this thing. It saves me what? Or that other thing. So I'm gonna trigger both powers on Brunhilde.
And they're just stat manipulation.
Yeah, this is +2/+2, and this is +4/+4 while attacking only.
+6/+6 ain't nothing. That's a lot, actually.
It is not trivial. Of course, she gives other characters reinforcement while exhausted, and has herself invulnerability while other characters I control are exhausted. While all other characters I control are exhausted. Is that right? I think that's correct. Yeah, let's act like that's correct. So are you firing any backup powers?
I think I'm not.
Okay.
I think I'm not.
Okay.
So we enter the combat phase?
Yeah, though I am going to ask you to declare your attack.
Sure, of course. I'm going to activate Barbara Gordon to play invasion plans.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to declare that Punisher attacks Quasar.
Right. I thought that was what you might declare. I am going to flip up Astral Projection at this point to move any number of Marvel Defenders characters I control to my hidden area. If I control Doctor Strange, I draw a card.
Okay.
So that, of course, does not consume your attack.
Validates the attack, so nothing has changed.
Yes.
Then I must attack Brunhilde also with Punisher.
Yeah. I don't love it. I'm going to take a lot of damage this turn. Your attack is 18. I will take... I am +2/+2 at all times. So I'll take 8 damage from that attack because I'm invulnerable.
Stalin to Hulken is probably going to be enough.
It's gotta be. Because that's my one play. I think I did that right. Was that 31?
I think we had this matchup before, and that's the other weakness of my deck is I don't plan to team attack, but if you make a big ass Hulk, that matters.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't get through.
We'll see. You have ways to give all of your
for
team
12.
plus attack. Yeah, you'll hit me for the 12. Yeah. What I can do. I don't know if it'll actually be enough this time, because I'm pretty low. So if you, we'll see.
Well, I think you're ahead of Punisher just with what's on the table, and you always
assuming you don't get any rings.
You always boost them. You always boost them with stuff.
Yeah, well. Yep, that's the hope. You sure did remove the Valkyrie from the equation, though, as I knew you would. Both Valkyries, I suppose. So, I mean, I've got Hulk. I'll read him. When Hulk enters play, exhaust all other characters you control. In response, I will activate their powers and target Hulk. I may discard a Marvel Defender's character card to ready him once per turn. As a reminder, +2/+2 at all times, +4/+4 while attacking.
Hulk has no flight.
No flight. That sure is true.
Okay. I'm going to free draw a card.
That's a good choice.
Then, I'm going to substitute Barbara Gordon for Barbara Gordon and free draw a card.
Pretty good choice.
Then, I'm going to reveal that I have another Dr. Fate's Tower.
Interesting.
This KO is my first Dr. Fate's Tower, but when you flip Dr. Fate's Tower, you may discard a card. If you do, search your deck for a Fate artifact, yada yada yada.
Right.
I will dop Sasha Bordeaux,
Stop that dope.
and I will go get a Helm of Naboo.
This would be your fourth
It
helm?
will be my third and final Helm of Naboo, if I did that math right. I may not have. I may have already done 3, which is why I need to put another one in here. I did already do 3.
If you could search for any equipment, though, correct? Like, you could search for
No,
rings.
it must be a Fate artifact,
I
but
see.
there are other Fate artifacts I can search for,
I
so
see.
you're just irrelevant. I need to get that
You
fourth
gotta
one
get
in
that
here.
fourth one in there. That'll
get another
that'll
cloak.
eat you.
We'll go get another cloak for no reason.
Yeah, well, you know. You never know.
That begs a question.
That it does.
And the answer is no.
Glad we cleared that up. Glad we cleared
So
that
this
up.
is in my hand. You cut my deck. I don't need more deck interaction at the moment. So what I do recruit with my remaining 6 resources, I suppose I still have 7 technically.
That sounds right.
'Cause I started the turn with 7.
Yeah, you haven't
so,
spent it yet.
is Nighthawk behind Punisher, whose power is leader characters adjacent to Nighthawk. I always have this problem. Characters adjacent to Nighthawk can attack hidden characters.
Ooh.
Equipped characters adjacent to Nighthawk get +1/+1.
Don't need that.
I also have one more the 10 rings.
So you are a 2120.
Is that right? It's +11, +12, +11. So no, that's way wrong. I mean 1918.
That's better.
No, you're right. You're right. I discounted his +1/+1.
So 2019.
2019. Yes, that.
You'll
is-
average our 2 incorrect guesses.
That is the number, and I think that might be all I'm doing.
Yeah. That's going to save you a lot of damage. Interesting.
I hope it's enough, and I really have no idea.
I don't either. All right. So you are formed.
Yep.
I mean, my Hulk is not a flying Hulk, so this does limit my options. Yeah. Gonna attack Dr. Punisher, Mr. Fate,
Okay.
for 2323.
Presently, you don't have a means of... Hulk has a ready, right?
He's got 1 ready built into him, at the cost of discarding a affiliated character card.
But hit twice really hard.
First time won't be that hard if you reinforce. You
Can't
can't reinforce.
Cannot
You
reinforce.
will take some damage.
So... I take... Is it 23?
Yeah, that's correct.
23 v... What did I say? 20 is my defense? I think so.
Yeah.
So I will take 7 from that one. And I assume you're ready.
I will wait until it is my attack step to do
Okay,
that.
I will pass.
Sure. Yeah, well, alright, yeah. I do have a spare beast. Do that. Already, and I'll attack the only other character I can attack.
Right. For 26 again? 23 again?
23 is the number.
So I will take 14, 19.
Do not have another ready.
So I go to 12.
Yeah.
I'll be sad if this is going so well. I'll be sad if it doesn't.
Well, I mean, you've got the initiative. It's going to be something.
It's going to be something.
Get him out. That's hilarious.
I will activate free draw card.
What do we do on this turn?
I have Nighthawk and a 10 rings.
That could be a big difference. Could be a big difference. Okay, alright, big difference here. Probably gonna do that. Sure is a thing. That's kind of funny. Kind of funny. And you got a Nighthawk. Why'd you have to have another Nighthawk? That was something I didn't want you to have.
Now, to be fair, Punisher's only a 22-21.
Yeah.
So your backup powers, I believe, make your Hulk bigger than he is.
Only on attack.
Only on attack.
That's real important.
That is really important.
Sheesh. What did you say your stats were?
Punisher is a... I will run through it because I'm
Yeah.
not 100% sure, but I
Yeah.
believe he's a 22-21.
Okay.
So this here is 12.
Yeah.
13. So it's plus 13. He's plus 14, 13, which makes him a 21, 20. I was off by 1.
A 21, 20. And you're counting for Nighthawk.
Yes.
Okay. Damn, another Nighthawk. Okay. This is complicated, so I'm going to reveal the complication and then I'm going to think for a moment. The complication is I do have my 8-drop Doctor Strange, who is also only a 17-17. He's Hulk-sized. His power makes this so complicated. When Doctor Strange enters play, ready all Marvel Defenders characters you control. So what that means is
Double backs ups.
I have double backs ups. And I have to think very precisely about how I use
Well,
those.
the first set. Oh, I guess. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And there is a thing that is not the case, and I wish it was the case. Boy, that's sure not the case. And you do have flight and range,
And can't be the target of effects.
and can't be the target of effect.
And is Dr. Fate.
is also Dr. Fate. And
Very
I am at
nearly the Mandarin. This is the closest I've been.
Yeah, that's right. You have 8 of them?
8 of them.
Jeez.
8 of them, and not a single one in my KO pile.
Yeah. And you're at 2120?
2120.
That math is so annoying. There's such a... Do I have to do that? That doesn't make sense.
What are you doing? Don't eyeball me like that. That's terrifying.
Maybe I don't recruit 8-drop Doctor Strange.
What?
That could be the wrong choice, and that makes no sense.
You recruit like Beast or something? Iceman or something? What's his nuts? Wolfsbane? Wolf Feral? What? Who's the hairy dude?
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Werewolf by Night?
I'm going to play the B team. Would you discard a backup Marvel Defenders character card to search for a character? This is going to make so little sense if this is how I remember it. But I think it's the right choice. That's gotta be it. That's stupid. Oh, that's so dumb. Could be the right choice. I'm gonna double check. The other thing I can do is that. I'm going to next turn, so it's either that
Sabretooth? Who is it?
Sorry, I need to... There's 2 ways I can do this, and they're terrifying, and the numbers are all so big for, like, what exchanges are most likely to occur.
I'll take your time.
I can do that, and then I can do that. That's what I would do if the Doctor Strange play were the right play. The other play could be that, which is... it has to be that. That's ridiculous. You forced me into such a stupid position.
Well, if you win, I'll be grumpy. Silver Surfer?
This is about to get so weird. You don't even know how weird this is about to get.
What is Silver Surfer? Is he the bounce one?
Yep. It's fine. Don't sweat it. Silver Surfer's power is... You substitute, like many of these characters. Whenever Silver Surfer attacks, exhaust all other characters you control. Whenever Silver Surfer stuns a character, you may return that character to its owner's hand. Interesting. Okay. And then I'm going to recruit... Doesn't actually work the way I thought it did. That might be a complete bungled play. Ah. There's one distinction. I thought that was really clever, and then there was a thing that I misread. And now this whole thing might be derp-a-derp. Do that. So bad. And it's Cosmic Power. The Cosmic Power, whenever we stun someone, I may return them to the owner's hand. Do that. Is that useful? It's 4. It's a very odd thing that is happening right now. And after the game's over, I'll tell you what the odd thing is, because there's some tricksy stuff that I can't do because of something. It's annoying. But I don't know if There is a better way. So you're going to attack Hulk, because to do anything else would be absolute madness. You have to attack Hulk. So what does that mean? You will, of course, when you do that, that KOs Hulk, which is not what I want. Would you mind if I didn't waste energy surfing for Silver Surfer? I think Doctor Strange is actually the right play.
Okay.
And I'll tell you afterwards what I did wrong about
All right,
that.
sure, whatever.
That's in there somewhere. I had to search for it. And I can reshuffle if it comes to that. And I didn't discard or play this because that's all.
It seems unlikely, but yeah, totally.
But I'll definitely explain how I sort of bungled that despite reading several cards several times. So I am going to search, or I am going to recruit Doctor Strange, and then I just need to figure out the backup powers. So this is simplifying things a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to pop Hellcat and Quasar on Hulk, and then they're ready. And then we're going to pop Hellcat on Hulk and Windowlon on Doctor Strange. So, in summary...
Just please explain this.
Hulk all the time this turn. And then both get +4/+4 while attacking.
Okay. Hulk is a 21/21, which is very close.
And I may or may not have a search card. Which may or may not matter, but...
Very close.
I appreciate you letting me do that as awkwardly as possible.
God, what do I do?
That is a fine question.
I really like the other situation better.
Well, yeah.
There was some clear actions, and now there are
If it
not.
worked the way it worked in my head, that other way would have been awesome, but it did not. That was a lie I was telling myself. It's so strange.
Oh, God. Kyle.
I haven't mathed this. I mean, I think this is my best shot. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know what you'd pull out, but there's... It seems like you might benefit from a team-up in there, but I have no idea what you'd pull out.
I can't afford it.
I mean, it does the thing that it does so well.
Well, it doesn't matter unless you can put somebody in play as big as Hulk, boosted by your team.
Yeah, that's true. That's a bit
It
of an outlier.
is exactly this situation where the
right.
team up matters.
Right.
So,
I feel you.
what I do is I back up, activate Dr. Fate's tower.
Yeah, I thought you might do that.
And I move the 10 rings to Dr. Fate.
Yep.
All 8 of them.
So Dr. Fate is +8/+8, and other characters you control get the attack, or
8 attack, yeah.
but Fate does not get an additional.
Fate does not get additional 8 attack. And then Punisher attacks your 3-drop.
Right, because you can attack hidden dudes. Oh boy, yeah, that's a smart
I haven't
play.
mathed it either, but I
That's a
think
very
that's
smart
my
play.
best play.
Yeah, that's a very smart play. Yeah, that's really, really, really gonna hurt. So what do I do about it? What do I do about it? I didn't even get the counter stun from that. Is that right? That's lame.
That was the plan. That's the only way this works.
Wow, that's...
I still think you've got more on the board than I have. Honestly, I think that's going to be a problem.
I got a power up.
Okay.
There's no reason not to do that. But I'm not even going to get close to stunning you. It just soaks the damage.
Well, you are now 1 point shy.
You are still +3/+3, right?
Yes, so you're no longer 1 point shy because you reminded me of the things that are going on in this game.
We got this. We got this.
He's in fact +4/+4.
Even better. Okay, so your total attack is 11 then.
No, he benefits from Dr. Fate.
Right,
so his
11
attack is still
plus
21. Moving the gear does not affect Punisher's offensive capabilities.
Right. So wait,
only
he's
affects his defensive capabilities.
Run me. Something didn't quite add up with what we just said, so I'm just missing something. So he's from these. He's
+4/+4.
Just from the artifacts.
Yes.
1/1 there.
Yes.
All right, I think this will add up correctly then. I was not accounting for
8 more attack.
Right, and then 1 from
1 more attack.
Okay, so 21.
21.
Well, I'll take 20.
And he's KO'd.
Hell yeah. She is
KO'd.
KO'd.
I don't even know who it was.
Alright, yeah. So I'm at -9 from 11.
Now it is my turn to go negative.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the correct play is to attack with, I believe, Doctor Strange.
Probably right.
Against Nighty Night?
That's also probably
right. Yeah. Yep. So we'll attack Nighty Night for 21. Can I do anything? I'm gonna play. What is more valuable here? So Dr. Fate is also 21 attack.
Yes.
Right. That's something. That's really weird. It might be better to attack with Hulk.
Okay.
I think that's actually better.
You can't attack Nighthawk with Hulk.
That's true. I still think it's the right choice. So, the reasoning simply being, you're going to get Hulk with your dude anyway, if nothing changes the board state. Ergo, I should use Hulk because he's actually the bigger character still, because he also gets +4/+4.
Right.
So I deal more breakthrough, assuming you do not have a means of reinforcement.
Right.
So I will attack Punisher for a gajillion. It is 25.
My defense is 11, so I will take 14 breakthrough, 18 total. So I go to -6.
So you are ahead right now.
Now Dr. Fate attacks Doctor Strange. That was very difficult to get out.
Yep.
And I do have a single power up for him.
Right, you do.
I do think you still win, and that is so annoying.
Do I? Oh, man.
You can ready Hulk, right?
I can ready Hulk, yeah.
It's going to be a big hit. It's going to be bigger than my hit.
I do have 1 power up for Doctor Strange as well.
Maybe this isn't a scary deck. Maybe it's just...
I mean, let's be clear here. I'm about to take a bunch more damage, and I'm not getting a counter stun, so it's unanswered until I swing with Hulk's big swing. Can I do anything? So, I have another astral projection, which says I can move characters hidden, and now I can draw a card, because I control Doctor Strange.
So you could invalidate the attack if you were so inclined.
I could. But Hulk is still the bigger attacker, so I think it's worth it. That's funny. That's not as useful as it seems because of that thing. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want to invalidate the attack because I want you... Yeah, because I want Hulk as the attacker. You're still not wrong to go after Doctor Strange because you're still removing an attacker. So that is the correct choice.
Importantly, I'm removing an attacker without being counterstunned.
Right, which is a big deal. However, the Naboo artifacts are not on Dr. Fate at the moment.
That's true. You
So
can
I
target
can
Dr. Fate.
finally play What Are Friends For, which is
get
Reverse
the
from the
counterstun.
Shadows.
That's
And then I will still take a bunch of damage.
Yes.
Your attack was 21?
No.
20.
It was 21, yes.
I'm good at this math thing. Except when I'm not.
6.
And then I take 8 plus 4 breakthrough.
I powered up, but so did you. So that's
Yeah.
that's why I didn't think it was right.
That's fair. Do I? What is your defense? Do I have enough to get you? You're minus 5, but
it's
he's
20.
Okay, that is just that's barely enough, but it is enough. So I take 12.
22, right? 22 attack.
From the Shadows is reduce of your defense, but effectively 22.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
But it's like 1 difference, so it's closer than you'd think because.
It's 2 difference.
Yep. We got this. And what did I say? 12. I'm at negative 21.
Okay. Yeah, I think you got me. We'll see.
Sure. I can ready Chuckles McGee.
I didn't run the math. It's really close.
It's really close. Do I have any other pumps or things that I can do?
I love that this pile of cards is Dr. Fate.
Yeah, he's suffocating under there. I think, ironically, the only thing that I can do is to search for another Hulk, which we'll say I do. I do have a card to discard. I search and power up on my attack.
So what's the number?
So my deck is 26.
26.
Boy, that's
I will
close.
take 15 breakthrough. I will take 20. I think I won by 1.
Is it 20?
We'll run that again.
Yeah. We'll double check it. Yeah.
What is it? So, yeah.
21 plus
My-
4. My
I am
attack is
not-
26.
26.
Exactly. That is correct.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I take 17 breakthrough, which is 22. You won by 1.
If I didn't, you let me rewind. If you had not done so, I still would have recruited Doctor Strange and realized that Surfer was the wrong one. But your generosity in rewinding gave me the power up that made that difference. So if we hadn't done that, we would have gone to the next turn, and that would be odd. That would be real. I'm gonna look at these next cards. Okay.
Uh-oh. That would have been bad.
I had this damn thing the whole game and couldn't get a counterstun on it until that last turn.
So, the disaster of my next turn is I would have KO'd Punisher, hoping to draw a new Punisher.
Yeah.
Actually, I got 3 cards. Let me look at my 3rd card, right? That's a knockdown rings. So, but what I top decked that's useful is the 8-drop Dr. Fate, which would have KO'd all of my equipment.
Oh. Can you move? You did have a way to transfer him back to Punisher. And then you could recruit.
But I wouldn't have had Punisher. So I would have had to put them on.
Which is not
nobody.
Catastrophic. I mean, plus 8 on anyone.
I literally couldn't transfer them to anybody. I could transfer them to Barbara Gordon.
That's just strange.
And then I could move 1 back.
Right. So here was
So I did draw another 10 rings.
Here was the odd situation.
Or I would have.
There are ways that I have in this deck to exhaust characters at a whim. This card here, Defenders Defend, is amazing. It says, and I quote, target exhausted Marvel Defenders character you control, attacker or defender, gets +3 defense this attack. That's a lot of defense. And I had 2 of them. And I couldn't find a way to play them because every time, and on that last turn, my problem was, I'm in this scenario, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't stop you from attacking Hulk. And I can't exhaust Hulk to give him +6 defense. So the thing that I'd misread on Silver Surfer, until I literally read it a third time, I thought he exhausted characters when he came into play like Hulk did. So when I recruited him, I'm like, oh, it's only when I attack. Because what I was trying to do is exhaust Hulk preemptively to ensure that I get a Hulk attack. And I couldn't
You're supposed to use those powers on your backup dudes.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
That's so funny.
But I wanted to exhaust Hulk because it's the only way I could attack with Hulk. And then there's other things. I had this card early on. This card seems so glorious. I
love turn 8s. Turn 8, turn 7s.
Yeah.
Negative 21s to negative 22s.
Oh, yeah. Turn 8. Yeah.
It was turn 8?
It was. You KO'd 1 resist. Because I had my 8 drop. Strange. Who I drew on 8, but I had the search. So I was ready to use the search, but ended up top decking him, which again ended up being consequential because if I had to search for him, I wouldn't have had the power up for Hulk and we wouldn't see next turn. There's some weird things that transpired.
And that went mostly right. I missed Sasha, which didn't matter a ton.
Well, depends on how much damage I would have taken from her, because if it was 2...
I don't think it would have been 2. It would have been more like 8.
8 at least.
Yeah, fair enough. But
I mean,
it goes to show that hitting Barbara Gordon is way more important.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely true. The push to get to what you need. Did you draw Punisher on the turn? You drew him on 4?
Yeah, both of the Barbara Gordon draws on that turn were Punishers. I drew 2 of them on that turn.
That's funny. I mean, that was a game. So one of the things that...
And I really need that 4th helmet in here, like so bad.
You really do. You really do. One of the things that sort of I was noticing as I was playing through is, again, I was foiled by weird things. So, for example, I was foiled by, I can't target your dudes. Because I had -5. There were so many times where I could have, counter-stun Punisher and would have done so gladly to swing through with an extra, 10 to 15 attack. And it turns out that maybe that wouldn't have even been the right choice, but I would have done it because it would have felt good. But I couldn't do it because of the damn Naboo. And then there was, well, I know what I can do to guarantee I attack with Hulk. I'll just move him hidden with my other... Oh, you have Nighthawk again. Why is that important? And more so, why is that important? Not so that you can attack a vulnerable character. That was a problem for me because it allowed you to attack my big gigantic character that somehow you could also stun with your big gigantic character. So it's like, I'm hiding my gigantic wall and it doesn't work because you can hunt down my gigantic wall, which makes no sense.
He's Punisher Dr. Fate.
He's Punisher Dr. Fate. And then there was even the strange stuff like, there was one more.
I think that was the best play of this deck so far. So
I
had a good time with that.
It's unreal. And then I had one more card that's pretty useful situationally, but gets basically another Ready Hulk, but it prevents him from dealing Breakthrough, ever, in any circumstance for a turn. And so against your single big character deck, that was not useful. So it's just like weird little things. And then there was the issue where I didn't draw any of my cards that allowed me to surprise exhaust someone to then use all my big stat pumps. It's just like there were. It wasn't. It was a fun frustrating, but it was like these weird, crazy interactions.
Well, let's get in there. We got time for
all
one
right.
more at least.
Take that.
What was that?
Blast. Everything is fine.
That was great. I had a good time just then.
Yeah, that was.
Again, we're doing pretty good. We were talking about this off stream a little bit.
Yep.
We've been since 50. Chris is the magic.
A is the letter.
Since our 50th stream, we've been pretty consistently having good nights of cards, and of course I'm jinxing it by saying that,
this next game's going to be terrible.
But they've been pretty solid, and that was one such solid game of cards.
There was one thing that you could have done differently in that game, and I don't know that it was the right choice, but I wondered, was switching the positioning of Punisher and Nighthawk. You couldn't reinforce Nighthawk, but I didn't have flight until the final turn in a meaningful way.
Sure, and I guess Punisher had range. That's true.
That's kind of what I was musing about. I don't
but
know.
Without Nighthawk, there was no there was no one for Punisher to attack because Punisher could not stun at the time Hulk, which was the important target.
Right.
So that was kind of moot.
It was interesting. That was an interesting. That was interesting.
If you had to pick one word
Peculiar.
to describe that game,
Game would be peculiar.
Chris is musing that your lamenting of the interesting specific interactions that made that game like playing against the New Gods.
I don't know where they went. They won some games for no reason and then floated off into the ether.
They went back to New Genesis.
They went back to New Genesis.
That's the name of the
probably
right?
right.
I think so.
That was and again, you were a little generous on that last turn.
No, we play that way.
It's
we play
true.
friendly games.
It's true. Boy, that was it's so funny. I think you've commented on this. Have we seen the Ten Rings win yet?
No, they're over 5.
I don't believe.
Which I love because I enjoy playing them and I know how absolutely terrifying they are. And this gives me fodder to say, well, they've never won a game.
It's awful. It's so. You're right. It's true. I can't justify the idea of them in AA. They're just.
No.
You can't.
They are like
they are
when I built that deck, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be an S. This might be like outsiders territory.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It is something else.
It's just funny, and I think they've been saved by some special circumstances. I think against the vast majority of the S decks, they're going to be pretty effective. But there's 2 things they can't deal with well, and one of them is a Hulk.
Well, as we learned in the first Avengers film, mystical characters against Hulk doesn't go so well for the mystical character.
You're rolling off.
I am, so I'm going to go outer die this go around.
You have 1.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping I wouldn't on that one. So these guys go SpaghettiOs.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Evens. We're going to go evens. I'm doing it. Evens is what I'm going.
He's done. These guys, I am probably a little rusty playing these guys.
Yeah, I hear
it's been
that.
a while.
I'm going to keep. Let's see.
I shall recruit Malak. Whenever I flip a location, Malak gets +2 attack this turn.
I don't know.
I'm going to reveal that I have the Flying Fortress.
Oh no!
Malak gets +2 attack this turn. Activate. Target League of Assassins character has flight this turn. While attacking this turn, that character gets +2 attack.
You gonna attack?
Yeah.
Oh.
For 5.
That's awful. That's not a combination you want. Opponent.
It's a combination I want. Oh,
well,
I
sure.
yeah.
It's like on my side of the table.
Right. No, it is not a combination you want. That's definitely
correct. I guess it's my initiative now that'll show you. So I am going to P-Root Sentinel Mark III. They're a tiny 1/2 character with flight and range, but they do get they give Army Sentinel characters I control +1 attack while attacking. Also, I have Prime Sentinels, which is an ongoing plot twist that says whenever an opponent plays a plot twist from his resource row, that opponent loses 1 endurance for each non-stunned Sentinel character I control, which is currently 1.
I will recruit Qasim. Qasim's power is activate. A target League of Assassins attacker gets +1 attack for each location you control. I will also recruit a Phantom Zone Projector. A Phantom Zone Projector on Malak. Equipped character has activate. Remove target stunned character from the game. Use this power only during the recovery phase.
Well, I'm going to attack Malak for 2. As I am an Army Sentinel character.
Yes, we're going to be stunned.
I will be stunned.
I have 2 attack. Oh, Malak. Oh, you flight. You have flight.
I'm a Sentinel.
You have flight. You have flight. You have flight.
Your math is correct. I have flight.
I will take it. That's fine.
Yeah, I dealt you 2 damage.
That's fine.
Wanna attack you this time?
Is it? No.
It's right there?
Nope.
Alright.
Hey. I've got Ubu. Ubu has loyalty,
Yes.
And he also has characters protected by Ubu cannot be attacked.
That's going to be really, really problematic for me with this deck. Boy, that's a rough situation. Yeah. So bad. Gonna recruit a Sentinel Mark 2, rather. Therefore, 3, I can activate and discard a Sentinel character card from my hand to negate target activated character effect, which might include the Phantom Zone Projector, hypothetically.
I think so, because it gives equipped character this effect, this power. So that is probably true.
That said, will I want to actually do that? Remains to be seen.
You do have to be not stunned for that.
True.
Just thought I'd bring that up.
But you can give anyone flying.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you got a good setup.
Yeah, it was pretty good for a couple of turns.
It's not good for the Sentinels. All right.
It's about to go off the rails, maybe. So, hang in there.
We'll see.
But what I will do is Ubu will attack the Sentinel. That is the bigger one.
Yep. Yep. For 5?
Let's see. I can do enough to make you reinforce, probably. If I don't reinforce, if I don't boost his attack, you probably make the play for the attack and get the 2-drop. But you'd be counter-stunned. That's not a good plan.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm losing a character anyway.
I'm going to do it for 5.
Yeah.
Then at least I can threaten with the other character. And then you can choose whether or not you want to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way this works is I take the damage. I take 5. And then I have to attack because that reduces the overall cumulative damage since I reduce Flying Fortress.
Yeah.
But it's half a dozen.
But it is 2 as well, right?
Correct. My attack is
So
2, and I take 2.
And then I will remove from the game the bigger one.
Reasonable enough. Boy. I guess that was your initiative, but still not precisely what I want. Oh, and that is removed from the game. Also really important.
No, my top deck to use one.
Yeah, I'm in trouble. Real trouble. I mean, this is always a late game deck, so maybe that's okay. I've got the Sentinel Mark 4. Sentinel Mark 4 gets +1 attack for each other non-stunned Army Sentinel character I control, which makes him a 6/6 and therefore better than Ubu.
Your mom.
That's it. Now I just need to hope that you don't recruit anyone.
Well, how about I recruit the worst character? I've got Merlin. Merlin's power is activate, KO target character if its cost is less than the number of locations you control. Use this power only during your attack step.
Boy, this is not going to go well for the Sentinels. Right. I guess the correct play is to attack Malak with my Mark III. For 2.
Yep.
I made it out of clay.
We're just going to do this the old-fashioned way, even though I've got cool powers on the board. I'm going to reveal that I have the Lazarus Pit. The Lazarus Pit is not unique, and its power is KO the Lazarus Pit, recover target stunned League of Assassins character control, activate target stunned League of Assassins character control, cannot be KO'd this turn. This It books Malak's attack by 2.
Oh, yeah, so it does. I guess that'll work. I'm stunned for 2.
I will take 2.
Well, now my attack's down to 5. I can no longer stun Ubu.
So Ubu will attack your 4-drop.
Yep.
I will just make it painful.
Pretty painful.
I'm going to reveal that I have the Pit of Madness, which says choose one target League of Assassins defender you control gets +2 attack this attack for each stunned character you control, or target League of Assassins defender you control gets +2 defense this attack for each stunned character you control. I'm not going to use that, but I am going to activate Hastim to give Ubu +3 attack.
Ubu +3
and
attack.
I'll throw in the Flying Fortress too, because why not?
Sure, not ecstatic about that.
Attack.
I do have a power-up to try and get that counter stun.
I think that's going to fly. Yeah, it'll fly.
And then I take a beating. Your attack was
I
10.
will then activate the Lazarus Pit to prevent Malak from being KO'd this turn.
Of course.
My attack was 10,
It
yes.
was 10,
and I
so
will
I'll
take
take
3 from the counter stun.
Too bad you're going to be able to just attack me.
Then Merlin's going to shoot you with an arrow.
Ow.
For 4.
And by 4
and
you
by 4
mean 7.
Yes, that is true.
It costs 4.
Yes, he does.
Boy, the beats. Alright, well, I'll lose that. On my face. Speed, mother, put on my face. So terrible. It's so terrible. Man, that's so terrible.
God, why is this draw so perfect? I'm so sorry.
It's alright. It does happen. I don't know what to put down as a resource. I guess I'll do... Yeah, this draw is darn mediocre for me. So I'm going to... It's so bad. I'm going to recruit a Sentinel Squad 1. Sentinel Squad 1 has a boost, which is that I can return a character I control to its owner's hand, and then when it enters play, I can return up to 3 army character cards from my code pile to my hand. I'm not going to do that, because I've only got 2 characters, and that would be a death knell. You've got flight on everyone, so it doesn't really matter none.
Nothing really matters.
I guess we'll do it this way. This isn't gonna radically affect things, so you can think about what you're doing. But I am gonna flip up a South American Sentinel base, which I can activate to return a KO'd Army Sentinel character to my hand.
I'll be recruiting Bane. At the start of the recovery phase, I may KO target stunned character. And he has a boost that I have not paid.
It's so bad. This is a massacre. What can I do? And you got +2 attack. What does the Pit of Madness do? It's a defender attack boost.
It's defender's attack or defense based on number of stunned characters.
Stunned characters.
It's really, really wordy, and I have to read it a couple of times to get that. But yeah, it could have been much simpler.
And Bane says,
at the start of the recovery phase, KO target stunned character.
Right.
You may KO target stunned character.
Right. Lordy.
There is a cat.
Frog, how are you?
Frog?
Yeah, this is,
Hello, I don't.
This Meadow is, but for some reason, Rachel nicknamed Meadow Frog. Meadow's a little bit shyer.
We'll be buds. That's
But,
okay. Well, maybe we won't be buds. That's okay.
Meadow may wish to go back into the room of cats. We'll know if there is momentary
You
meowing.
should declare an attack.
Yeah, I mean, that's an option I have.
You can pass.
I guess the best play... It's so awful. I don't think there's a way I can get through this turn without both of my characters being stunned. There might be a way I can keep you from getting the 5-drop. But it's a reach. No, I don't know if I can do that.
Aww.
Hello. Hey. Yes, hello, Rutland.
Play your turn.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just deciding whether or not to concede. I don't know if there's anything I can do here. Fine, I'll hit Ubu. A little Ubu.
A little Ubu. 9-9?
9-9.
9-9. Yeah, we can make that work. I will play Heat Vision for 2, 4, 2 or 4.
What determines whether or not it's 2 or 4?
Your ongoing plot twist determines how much I'm pinged.
Oh, 2.
Exhaust target defender you control. If you do, that defender gets +3 attack this attack, and whenever that defender stuns an attack with this attack...
We're good.
All right.
Well, that was rough.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It was a really good job for me.
Yeah.
And I literally, I didn't have 4 or 5, and I top decked them both.
I can't fault you. It's just that was just a rough scenario.
I didn't have 3 either. I top decked 3, 4, and 5.
That's really useful. Yeah, I mean, I had no safe attacks on... That was the safest of the attacks that I had on the board. I guess I could have attacked Hasim, but that's not useful, comparatively. And, I had no stat pumps, so it was like...
Nice.
I can attack Bane and get counter-stunned with you doing nothing. Or I attack Ubu. And if that goes through, I still have my whole team probably stunned. But you can't get...
that was pretty zippy. You want to go again? You want to do another A
This
tier, or
this
you wanna
matchup
just...
I don't think is a good... Well, I mean, you had a really good draw, but
really
I
good
should
draw.
be done with the Sentinels for
Okay.
tonight.
Then we'll play the other deck and
see what happens.
See where we get. Yeah.
Our first game took long enough that maybe we'll only have time for one more anyway.
Yeah,
Might as
no,
well be the
I
other
was
deck.
concerned about getting to 3, and that facilitated it.
Problem solved. Whew. That is true. What do we say? Double A. Double A. Is
Double A, yeah. Should be, if you did one of each.
That I did. The Sentinels kind of... One of the weaknesses they've always had is that they're a deck that doesn't do much for the first half of the game, but kind of sets up the late game.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was I not really getting the setup pieces, you were taking apart pretty effectively the other pieces that I need.
Yeah,
it's
and
like
the hard counters are like you play a lot of small characters, so they're always in the range of like Merlin, for example, where usually that would not be viable.
Yeah.
In a few turns, and the secret was I never could I could KO your 2-drop that one time, and that was it. But
honestly, the funny thing is that Merlin wasn't the issue. The Phantom Zone Projector and Ubu was a really, really strong opening.
No, yes, it helped me get ahead of the curve a little bit.
Yeah, and the Sentinels also really suffer from terrible, terrible stats until turns 5 and 6.
No, and Ubu should not have the stats that he has.
He probably would have been fine at like 5-5. But 5-6 with those stats is bonkers.
You can say, like, the argument for the balance of Ubu is...
No range?
No. The other League of Assassins characters are behind curve, and he has loyalty. So the implication with Ubu is you're playing some weaker characters to get him into play, but maybe that's not enough.
Yeah.
And then team-ups like Breakback and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's hard to say. I don't necessarily know that he's unbalanced, but I mean, he's definitely strong. He's indisputably strong. The question is he like too strong? I don't know. But against a behind stat curve deck that isn't known for stat modification until turn 6.
Well, what do you like?
It's really
he has really good stats, and he's designed to protect a character
that KOs
you. He should have low attack. Like he could keep his 6 defense, I think.
Yeah.
He could keep his 6 defense, but he should have like
maybe
2 or 3 attack.
Yeah, right? I could see 3-6. 3-6 would work.
And the power, or not the power and the big stats.
Right.
But the pairing is where it goes a little bit off curve.
Yeah, the loyalty doesn't quite derail the potency of the game.
It is sometimes like, you know, if I don't get a 1 or a 2,
yeah.
I don't get a 3 either.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's infrequent.
Again, I'm not necessarily... I mean, I've played enough matches against Ubu. He's a rough customer, and he's always a little bit difficult to deal with, but it was just a really, really bad match.
It was a bad... Well, and I had such a strong start. I don't know how your start was, but my start was strong enough that I punched a hole in it no matter what it was.
Yeah, my start was not...
If you didn't miss one, it would have been a drastically different game.
Yeah, that's true. But that made a huge, huge difference. Well, all right, you get the honors of doing the
die
roll.
Oh, boy. Oh, I hit my life dice. I didn't declare anything.
You didn't declare anything either. Oh, that was all kinds
let's do this all again. I'm going to roll the outer die.
You won.
These guys are, I believe they're an evens deck. Let me think about that for a sec.
Yeah. Since you won the roll, I am going to look at my hand.
I think they're an evens deck.
Boy, oh boy. That sure is a hand that I could keep, even though it's stupid.
I like 3 of the things in here, but they're not the right things.
I have to ditch that hand. I gotta do it. It's right on the edge, but I'm gonna... Executive decision. Well, it's the right choice to discard it. I don't know if I'm getting much better, but we'll see.
There's some interesting stuff here. This could be funny. So I've gone evens. What do you do?
I do not have 1-drop.
I do. It is goalie. Goalie says, whenever goalie becomes stunned, each of your opponents loses 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls. He's probably goal.
Probably goal. But goalie is...
It's more fun to say.
More fun to say. Yeah. I will pass.
He will hit you for 1.
Better than the last beginning already. Where I missed a 1 drop.
Better than the last beginning.
Yeah, not a ton better. Okay, so we're going to do... It is peculiar.
Oh, I have initiative. I've got Jafar. Jafar's power is exhaust 2 characters I control with the version Deep 6, gain 1 resource point. Spend this point only to recruit characters with the version Deep 6. Use this power only doing your attack step.
Might do the thing.
I'm sorry, recruit step. Only recruit step. That makes a lot more sense.
I don't have a 2-drop.
Uh-oh. Whoa, then I'm going to hit you for 3.
Yeah. In and of itself, not a massive problem yet, but it soon may become one.
What are you doing, deck? You are a goofy deck.
That is a goofy deck. Goalie is whenever he becomes stunned?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Great. I do have a 3-drop. It's Punisher. Punisher has Reservist. He also has put Punisher on top of his owner's deck. Put target stunned character on top of its owner's deck. Its controller loses endurance equal to its cost. Doing the thing.
Did do the thing. Trock is my 4-drop.
Oh,
Trock
boy.
gets +1 attack for each face-down resource my opponent controls.
Sure wish you didn't have Trock.
Me? No, I'm glad I have Trock.
Glad you have Trock. Yep.
5/3 are Punisher's
5/3,
stats?
Yeah. I'm going to take a punch from Trock. I guess I hit... goalie pings me back. Ugh. Alright, I'm going to flip up Liberating number 42. Whenever an Avengers character you control stuns an opposing character this turn, rally for a character card. I'm also going to flip up Asgard, which is a location that I may activate to put target character from my KO'd pile on top of my deck. I'm going to attack your 1-drop.
It's going to work. I'm going to take 5.
Yeah.
Can I put him on top of my deck?
Nope.
I'm going to hit you for 7.
Still a good hit. I take... I'm at 39, and then I take 1 because I have 1 face down
Yes,
from
that's
goalie.
true.
That's why I flipped them up, you see. Save myself some deeps. There's a time and a place for that, and that was neither. Your initiative.
My initiative. I will recruit Darkseid, whose power is activate a target stunned character's controller loses endurance equal to that character's cost. I said the right words and I felt like I didn't, so
Right.
sorry for that awkwardness just then.
All right. Gotta think about how I do this here. I'm going to bring out Stature. Stature has Activate, remove a 1/1 counter from Stature, and remove all attackers from this attack. Use only if Stature is defending. Boost, discard an Avengers character card to give her a counter. I also put down a resource, because that's a good plan. I'm actually going to discard a different character, pardon me. Discard Invisible Woman.
I'm going to attack Stature with Drop.
Yeah, I thought that you might. I'll flip up Alias Investigations, which is a location. You may activate it to rally it for a card type of my choice, which is cool and all. And then I think we are stunned.
Fair enough.
Your attack was 7, so I take 4. You can. I just take damage equal to cost with Darkseid.
If I activate him, that is true.
Yeah. I can reinforce anybody I attack, but I should still probably do it. Is that true? Yeah, we'll attack goalie.
Okay. I am going to reinforce goalie. I am going to exhaust goalie. I'm going to exhaust goalie to play Apocalyptic Hospitality. As an additional cost to play Apocalyptic Hospitality, exhaust a character control. Target stunned character and opponent's controls cannot be recovered or KO'd this turn. If you control a Darkseid's elite character, that stunned character's controller loses endurance equal to its cost.
Some things for 4.
I will let him ping you for 4.
Yes.
And I will take 1 and you will take 1.
Yep. Now that's a predicament. Now the question is, do I pop Punisher to get rid of your 4-drop or not? Because you're going to get a 4-drop back. And I'm not going to get a 4-drop back.
It is the situation.
Yeah.
You will eventually.
Yeah.
Or you may eventually.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to pop the truck.
They both go on top of it.
Yeah, let me confirm. Put target stunned character on top of its owner deck. Its controller loses endurance equal to its cost.
Oh, annoying. That's my shtick.
Aha! Then I'm going to rally for a character card. Hey, it's Punisher. It's cool. It's cool to have Punisher.
That could be quite devastating given my draw.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Worst case, I'll have chalk.
Oh, sorry. She is. Still stunned and such. Right. It's not ideal, but I think it's still what to do. Not ideal. It's my initiative. I'm going to recruit Wonder Man. Wonder Man, he's an interesting one. If Wonder Man would cause an amount of breakthrough, instead, you may stun a character with defense less than or equal to that amount. The wording of this has always led us to believe that he never deals breakthrough, if memory serves.
If he would deal an amount of breakthrough instead, yes, he does not deal breakthrough. That is correct. I'm going to recruit Batman. When Batman stuns a defender, that defender's controller loses endurance equal to that defender's cost. This is in addition to the normal stun endurance loss. This is a very early card. Very specific. And I am then going to play the hookup. To play, choose 2 different team affiliations from among characters you control.
Right on.
Ongoing, cross over those affiliations. I will choose Gotham Knights and Darkseid Elite.
Yeah.
Discard a Gotham Knights character card and draw a card. Use this power only once per turn. Is a continuous power.
Yeah.
This ongoing plot twist has. So I'll discard Chalk and draw a card.
Sure. Not a perfect situation, that's for sure. Yeah. I think, so weak. Man, I gotta attack Batman.
Okay.
That's so awful. Maybe I should have I totally forgot to give up Stature's counter. Maybe I should have just done that last turn and avoided that stun. That probably would have been a better play.
You didn't know I was going to prevent her from recovering, which is probably what you are most feeling is the reason for that decision.
Probably true.
So there's not really a predictable reason for you to have done it.
Sure, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I've got to hit Batman. Attack Batman for 10.
Your defense is 9.
8.
So we are stunned.
Mm-hmm. And I get to stun someone with a defense of 1. Whatever who that shall be.
If I don't reinforce.
If you don't reinforce.
Look at some stuff.
Sure.
I'll allow it. I'm going to exhaust goalie to play Apocalyptic Hospitality. Keep stature stunned and ping you for 4.
Oh my word.
I'm also going to ping you for 4. And then I'm going to take 5 and then presumably 1 for goalie as well.
Correct, yeah.
So 6 total on my side and 2 on yours.
Yep. Let me take that. I don't think I did. Oh, my face.
That is a useful thing.
I don't need you to get more useful things. You need to stop that. The way that I have a chance at all is you not getting additional useful things.
Oh, and initiative 2?
Oh, while we're at it. So you didn't need you to get more useful things.
Alright. So the first thing I do on my turn is I discard a truck to draw a card.
Yeah.
I put that card in my resource row. Then I recruit Mongol. Mongol's power is cosmic. While I control another Revengebolt character, whenever Mongol stuns a character, that character's controller loses endurance equal to that character's cost. It's a boost power that I'm not playing. I'm going to reveal that I have another hookup, and I'm going to team up Revenge Squad and Gotham Knights, and also Darkseid's Elite.
Yeah.
That lets me fire that discard power more than once a turn, but I'm going to choose not to because I'm going to recruit Dark Lantern, substituted for Jafar.
Yeah.
Dark Lantern's power is when Dark Lantern comes into play, target a character control, I will target Mongol. While that character has the Darkseid's Elite affiliation and is attacking this turn, it cannot be stunned.
Yeah. I've got Invisible Woman. But I don't think there's anything I can do. She is concealed. I can't be the target of opposing effects, so that negates the sod. Or does it target the character?
A stunned character.
Nope, so it negates nothing. Also, my visible characters get +1 defense. And I'm dead.
Yep. Team Attack Batman. I mean,
Wonder Man.
Team Attack Wonder Man. For 18.
Yeah. You said I couldn't stun somebody?
You can't stun Mongol.
Right, for the cosmic counter. So I stun Batman. I take 15 damage from that.
I'll take 5.
And then a 1. And then I attack Darkseid and you kill me.
I'll ping you for 5. But I will take 12 from that or whatever.
12 is the number.
12 exactly. And then I attack you for 3.
Oh, yeah. -7. Yeah. Yep.
That deck almost rarely works against you. It very rarely works against you.
That's 2 games in a row where I've missed my early drops and it's done me in. You just nailed those early drops and couldn't make it up. And ironically, in both of those games, you took one of my characters and just kept them unstunned and unKOable. Turns out that's a really potent strategy when I miss early drops. That is unfortunate. Not a thing I can do.
Well, I think we have time for a third game, or fourth game.
Feels like a third game. Sure. Yeah, sure.
We might go a little over if it's a long one.
Yeah,
There's one like that. We might get one more.
There you go. Only can take so many of these thrashings.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I spoiled it. I was talking about how great our games are going, and then you just stopped playing.
Yep.
You're like, I'll show you.
Okay, I'll teach you to
Feel positive about our streams, will ya?
Learn.
I'll stop drawing characters.
Alright, have I played these guys lately? Yeah, several weeks ago. It's probably long enough.
Do you remember that first game? It was a good one.
First one was really good.
So what tier we got?
There's another double A.
Double A. I'm happy when this deck works. It's an interesting, funny.
It is, and you got to do your thing. But again, it's funny. Like I mulligan my opening hand because I'm like, I've got a 3-drop. I really need a 1 or a 2-drop this time, especially in that deck. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get a 1 or a 2. And you get those early drops, and then I can't stop all the cool things your decks do, and you just snowball out of control. And I've got to at least match you, or I need an opening. At some point, like I need you to miss something later to kind of make up for it to be close. But
the secret in this deck is I've only got one 4-drop,
right.
Which means I play it on 4 or I play it on 3. But whichever I do, I'm not playing another character.
Right. Admittedly, you benefited significantly from the doubles, from the first stasis. The first stasis was actually by far the more important stasis because the other one I would have had to lose a character anyway. But maybe I probably should have just fizzled that attack. That was probably a misplay.
And again. You didn't know what it was going to pile onto it, so it's really hard to see that.
I should have assumed KO or something. And the truth is I should have just played for board state. That was a mistake, because at that point, I know with certainty that I'm down characters. So even giving you the... I mean, I didn't expect stasis, but I expected KO. Or I thought, that, that's what is the bigger risk. So already being down characters, I'm suited by... foiling your attack, and then stalling the next turn, where I have initiative, and then I have 2 characters, and that works much better for me. So I think that was a legitimate misplay on my part, and I don't know that it.
What I thought you were doing. Well, so here's why. Here's again another counter argument. It allowed you to play the Punisher play.
Right.
Like letting that attack go through, knowing I was going to be stunned, gives you the option, and you didn't have to choose to use it, but it gives you the option of putting my 4-drop on top of my deck, which you ultimately chose to do.
Right. And then you recruited him again. No, what happened on 4? What did you do on 4? Because you recruited your big guy on 3. You got to do your thing.
Yes, and he just hit you because you weren't ready.
Right.
And then on 4, I recruited the 2-drop, but that's when that interesting play
Right. And so I got to pop, but then was also popped. Yeah, I guess that's probably it. I probably looked at Punisher and
I think without knowing my card, I think you made the correct choice with the information presented.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Because popping my 4-drop, which I recruited early, is big.
Yeah, it seemed like the way,
especially because I didn't
play
an on-curve character that turn, so it seems like a big. It seems like a board play.
Right.
And it ostensibly was, but I could also keep your board stuck.
Right. Yeah.
Circumstantially.
Yeah. That's fair. I guess it is more borderline than I was thinking. I forgot about Punisher. Because Punisher goes away when I use Punisher's power, so ultimately, to equalize it as best as I could, it was still sort of a disadvantage. It was a weird game. Here we go.
Well, I guess I gotta roll off again. I will choose the outer die. I have won.
That's a lie.
Is it? Is
we
it
have tied.
Whoa, I will roll it again.
Must re-roll. You won that time.
I have won. I will choose...
Assuming you continued with the outer, which I will.
I think this is a misleading deck. I think it's an odds deck, even though it really feels like it ought to be an evens deck. That is my recollection.
Oh, man.
With the bag sort...
This is one of those hands where it's like, I need these things. All of them. Except I don't have characters.
I'm in a similar boat. I'm going to try it. We'll see.
What are the odds of this working?
Am I going to try it?
Boy. Oh, boy.
Oh. Oh.
I don't know if I like that.
I'm gonna do the thing again.
I'm
that
gonna.
I hate doing.
I'm gonna
It's
keep
embarrassing
this.
when I do this thing,
Oh boy.
and I rarely have to do it. I rarely have an opportunity to do it. That's not correct. Let me explain.
Yeah, take
You'll
your time.
know in a moment.
I'm with you.
I can do it right now. It's an odds deck,
Okay.
so I get to take initiative.
Okay.
I rarely have an opportunity to make this play correctly, and it is surprising how much of those times that I simply cannot. Whenever Beast comes into play, I may discard an Avengers character card. If I do, I may search my deck for a team-up card, reveal it, and put it into my hand and shuffle my deck. It's a cool power Beast has.
I do not have a 1-drop yet again, so you're going to get
Beast
the
is
Beast.
going to hit you for 2.
Still better than 5.
Yeah. Why? Why are we doing this?
Feel you.
Oh, I can't. I can't. Why? Why? I might have to do that, and it's so terrible. Kyle.
I hear you.
It's so terrible. It's your initiative, though.
It is my initiative. We're going to do that.
I have to do it.
Not ready. Not ready. So I'm going to recruit. I do have a 2-drop. I'm going to recruit the Retrieval Protocol OMAC robot.
Hey, it's good.
I like these guys. These are the guys that say I can. So they're 2/2 with flight and range. I can discard a character or a location card, and characters I control with the identity OMAC robot get +1/+1 for the turn, but use only once per turn. Then I'm going to flip up Checkmate Armory. The Checkmate Armory says equipped characters I control get +1 attack. Also, I can activate it and pay a resource point to search for an equipment, but I do have one in my hand, which is the laser watch.
Gigantic character, really quick.
Equipped character gets +2 attack and has range. Also, when the laser watch comes into play, equipped to a Checkmate character, I may exhaust a location I control to draw a card.
That was a really good combo of things.
It was good.
How big is your dude?
So my dude is a 5/2. It's prickly.
All right. Let's think back fondly on my first turn when I recruited
I
Beast,
remember it
a
was a great
dumb
turn.
character,
Real dumb.
and was not able to use his power.
Yeah, it was good.
A useful power, and the fact that I was not able to use it is dumb. So, how would you follow that up? Would you take like a really useful piece of equipment and put it on him, such as
Sure,
the
sure.
Thunderjet?
I'm with you.
Equipped character gets +2 attack and has flight, while equipped character has the Thunderbolts affiliation. Oh, this doesn't even do what I thought it did.
Uh-oh.
I'm
Perhaps you
not
don't
gonna
do
do
that.
it. Yeah,
Not gonna do
jeez. So I have stupid Beast, who I hate, and he's a jerk.
Well,
Jerk Beast.
I mean, the retrieval protocol is no Malak, but I'm still going to attack you for 5.
I'm gonna take it.
I do take 2 pack. I am counter-stunned.
Man, you need to get your act together, deck. you are causing some
I
trouble.
understand that feeling.
All right. At least I have initiative.
That's true.
I'm going to shut up.
That's very strange. Strange behavior, Ian.
I'm going to recruit Eric Jostin, who is a Goliath.
He is a Goliath.
I mean Atlas.
He is an Atlas.
At the start of my recruit step, put a 1/1 counter on Eric Jostin. If I control 5 or more resources, put an additional 1/1 counter on.
Pardon me.
Eric Jostin is going to be using this Thunderjet, which says equipped character gets +2 attack and has flight, and while the equipped character has the Thunderbolts affiliation, whenever it attacks a character, attacks him, you may exhaust that character.
Whenever he attacks a character.
I will now play Stormfront 1. When you flip Stormfront 1, choose 2 team affiliations from one character's control. If you chose Thunderbolts and a different affiliation, draw a card. Shut
You
up.
made it through. It's fine. Sentence completed
Characters you
successfully.
control as well as etc. teamed up.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, Thunderjolt.
Thunderjolt?
Thunderjolt. The Thunder Jet is +2 attack at all times.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm with you. So I'm gonna play the neutralization protocol. The neutralization protocol says stun another character you control to gain a resource point. Spend this resource point only to recruit a character with the identity OMAC robot. Uses power only once per turn and only during your recruit step. And I'm gonna form like that, I guess. I did it.
I'm going to attack this thing.
That
Him.
And you are a 4/2.
2.
So I'm going to discard the location to power up all characters with the identity OMAC robot. 1/1 for the turn.
Oh, that sucks.
I'm going to get beast. So does that successfully foil your?
Yeah. I have so
I've
little over here.
I'm gonna take beast for 5.
Alright, I'm gonna take B5.
B5, and I'm just gonna attack for 6.
I'll take B6.
B6 it is. Aha! I've destroyed beast.
What a disaster.
Good damage though. Less concerned
What
about beast
a
and
disaster.
more the other stuffs.
So you're gonna have a 5-drop this turn on your initiative?
That is a possibility. Would require me to stun a character that's actually not bad though.
You stun the other one.
Is that true? No, I must stun another character. So he's the one with the power, and he says I must stun someone else. That's probably. What's your turn 4 like? Yeah. I think we still go for it. And we'll stun him for 2 to gain a resource point, and I will recruit the 5-drop. The 5-drop's got stats. The power, which won't matter at the moment, is exhaust a non-army character you control to KO target stunned character. I don't have any non-army characters in play. Sorry, I will form like that.
Recruit Cobalt Man only if you control an Avenger character. He's a Thunderbolts character with loyalty. Iron Man, Cobalt Man, has invulnerability while attacking.
Your dude is big too.
He's a big dude.
Right. Okay. Gotta just swing at Cobalt Man, I think. Swing at Cobalt Man.
Swing a Cobalt.
Swing at Cobalt Man.
I will take 7. Looks like.
Yup, I will take 5.
Oh, so little left. I think I swing at your 3-drop.
Yep.
I do have 5 attack.
Yep. I don't have a defense against that. We'll be stunned. But yeah, I think that works out all right for you. Crap, yeah. I think that just works. That is unfortunate for my joy. All right, here we go.
You are an absurd deck.
That would have been useful a turn ago, I suspect.
Hawkeye is a reservist whose power is... Characters adjacent to Hawkeye cannot be stunned while attacking a character with greater cost. Cobalt Man also has a Thunderjet.
Oh, that's a strong turn for you. Boy, that's a strong turn. Boy, this game just got turned right around.
You have to make up 14 life.
I guess that's true.
But I'm feeling a little better about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge. I don't think I'm going to be able to make you lose a character, and I don't think there's any way I'm not going to lose a character. So that's a pretty big deal. Just going to recruit another 5-drop.
I will attack one of your 5-drops. Whoa!
That is an
You're going to do a little dance over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the right play is to just reinforce, which is unsatisfying, perhaps. I take 5.
In which case, I will attack the other of your 5-drop.
I do get a counter stun on that, but
that.
I take 6. Ooh, I take more than 6. I take 8. 11. Yeah. Ouch. Alright, I need this next turn to be amazing.
This draw. Oh gosh. I'm looking forward to sharing my terrible experience.
Athelia. So I'm gonna do that. Nope. I'm gonna do that. I am gonna flip up a Brother Eye Satellite. When I flip it, I can discard a character card, which I will do to search for a Checkmate character card. Reveal, put it in my hand, and shuffle my deck. Probably that. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's that. That will reveal that moment because I am going to recruit that character. Still ain't great. Oh man. I'm going to recruit that character I just searched for by the name of Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller has a boost of X. I'm going to pay 2 for that boost. When Amanda Waller comes into play, gain 2 resource points. For each resource point you paid for X, spend these only to recruit other Checkmate characters. Yeah, I don't actually know if you've seen her before.
I have.
Well, okay. I'm going to spend these.
I've only seen you recruit her once, but I was aware of the character.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
She's a cool character.
I
was
like
thinking
her
of
power a lot.
some stuff to do with her before you made this deck, and then you made this deck. I'm like, I'll leave it to Kyle.
Fair enough. So yeah, I gain 4 resource points. I'm going to use them to recruit the Elimination Protocol, OMAC Robot. Their power is KO a character you control. To recover, target stunned character you control with the identity OMAC Robot. Use this power only once per turn.
Oh, interesting. So you can KO Waller, hypothetically. This is the first time I think I've seen you be able to do that. No, you did with pawns before, but yeah.
I think we'll form like that.
Oh, crap. Okay. What does that mean I do?
I don't know.
I'm going to recruit helmets, you know.
You
I don't know where I'm going to put Helmet Zemo. Or the rest of my characters, for that matter.
Good point. I have flight and range on everyone except Amanda Waller, who doesn't fly.
That would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying.
Helmet Zemo's power, which I will read before I decide where my dudes go, say characters adjacent to Helmet Zemo have the Thunderbolts affiliation, and characters adjacent to Helmet Zemo get +2/+2 while attacking an exhausted defender. I may put him next to Hawkeye because you're just going to hit Cobalt Man, or maybe you'll team attack him. And those are better outcomes for me to be able to maybe hit back hard with Hawkeye. Maybe. I think that's right. That's weird. Oh, no, he doesn't have range, so I have to do it like this. That's what I need to do.
That is fair.
That makes a lot more sense.
That does mean
I can't reinforce Cobalt Man.
that Cobalt Man could be counter-stunned.
Grr, I guess that's my formation. I wish I had a thing or several things that I need.
Yeah.
And don't have.
Yeah.
So Helmet Zemo's power is useless, although he's bigger than all your characters.
He sure is, and that is a thing that I wish were not the case. Yeah. Boy, this is not an ideal predicament. Not ideal. How do I make this more ideal? Could do that. Yeah. It's an option.
Yes. We should do something.
What would that avail me? So I can do that. And then you do that.
I can't believe how well this is going for me, given my draw.
Yeah, it's you got. I mean, you got the key pieces here, which are Hawkeye and Duders. Cobalt Man. They're all absolutely gigantic characters too, which is part of the issue I'm dealing with. Because this deck doesn't have gigantic characters, so I'm severely outgunned here. Cobalt Man is a good counter to me recruiting a 5-drop. I recruit the 5-drop and you recruit a 4-drop that is as big as mine and unstunnable while attacking and invulnerable.
He's invulnerable while attacking, he's only unstunnable when Hawkeye's around.
This is fair. But the point is that combination is really, it diminished the cool thing I did by doing it better.
However,
I have a very small life advantage.
Cobalt Man is only unstunnable when attacking your 5-drop.
That's true, but that was the cool trick that I did. Which was definitely made much less cool by the fact it made me more vulnerable. I mean, I guess I'm going to attack Cobalt Man. Makes the most sense.
I'm just going to take it.
Yeah. I'm going to take 5.
7 again.
Man. Yeah, 5. 21.
I think I attack the 4-drop with Hawkeye.
Yeah, that's a legit option. That's a legit option you have. It's a legit option. I'm going to flip up a Checkmate Secret HQ. Secret Checkmate HQ. I got that in all the wrong order. Flip only if you control Defender. Checkmate characters you control get +2 attack. At the start of the combat phase, replace Secret Checkmate HQ. So right now, I am tied with you. read one card. For 2. Probably won't work. Alright.
11 was the attack.
My defense did not change, so I'm going to take 8 from that. 13. Well, Amanda Waller's going to try to hit Helmet. I have a target acquired. Exhaust any number of locations you control, target attacker or defender. A checkmate attacker or defender gets +2 attack this attack, and an additional +1 for each location I exhausted. I'm going to search for a character. And then give myself +6 attack.
Wow, that's craziness. Ooh, I'm looking at shit. I know what's down here.
I will search for him a second.
Huh.
You are only at 8 life?
Yep. Did you kill me?
I may have. That was not what I was trying to do. My attack is...
I only need 2 breaks.
I do. Yeah. I'm +2 from the Checkmate HQ being flipped, which is 10. 6. I might. That was not what I was intending to do at all, but I will, I suppose, take it. I am +6. I am 16 attack. And getting counterstun.
+6 is 14 attack.
2 more from the Checkmate HQ, which gives my characters +2 attack. 14 attack.
That was a huge swing. What was that play?
So that is target acquired, which is exhaust any number of locations you control. Target checkmate attacker or defender you control gets +2 attack, and an additional 1 for each location you exhausted.
So 5.
2 for the core, and then I exhaust 4.
Oh, you exhausted 4. You don't need to exhaust to do the other stuff. Okay.
Correct.
I see.
This one is just a flip to do it.
Woof. I guess you got me.
Huh. I'm not going to lie, that was unfulfilling because that's not what I was trying to do. I wanted to just see next turn, but I suppose I'll take it. I guess that life mattered after all. I do take 4 from the counterstun, and I'm at 9. That sure was unexpected.
So, in my resource row, we're 2 more copies of Stormfront Run. 1. The team up you can't play more than once.
Oh, yes, that one.
2 more beasts, because why not? You just need some beasts. And a Hawkeye. The things I could play this game were nothing. I could play nothing the entire game.
Except Stormfront 1 and a Thunderjet. Yeah, it's pretty bad draw. I guess so. You know, it's interesting. I definitely think I was falling behind from board position, but obviously couldn't know that you had no plays, and so that was. I guess I don't even know what to make of that game. I don't know how to parse that.
And I'm shocked, and I missed turns.
Yeah.
Several, and I have no idea how like on 5 I'm like, oh, I'm back in.
What'd you do?
It was so weird to me.
Well, I think you started. You did okay. You missed 3.
I missed 2. I played a 2-drop on 3, but it was Justin who's behind curve until he gets counters.
Right. That's right. You missed 2, underdropped 3, and you did hit the rest. But the important thing was that the playing of Justin, and the reason that was actually, I think, pretty close, notwithstanding that unexpected. Like, I really had not run. That was not a thing I was prepared for. I'm like, I was ready for the rest of that game.
I don't think I've ever drawn and not had a play, like something to play.
Yeah, that was really strange. Right, when the one thing you flip, when the one thing you flip is a team up that you have multiples of and can only play one of, yeah, that's a weird one. But yeah, so you underdropped on 2, or no, you hit 1, missed 2, underdropped 3, but you were able to get the 2 pieces of Cobalt Man. You got the 2 team affiliations.
Yes.
If you
which is
have to
super
do
important.
one
Yeah,
thing,
the team up isn't like
Yeah.
I kept my opening hand, or I
Yeah.
kept.
Did you keep the opening
I
hand
didn't
because
keep
you had
my
the team up?
Yes, I did keep the opening hand because I had the team up. I also had Beast and I had some high cost characters, but Beast, like getting the Avengers early,
Right.
which is what Beast in a team up says to me,
Right.
is super important for the mid game strong plays.
Right, Toad? I mean, that was a very odd outcome. I was not. I guess it was so ingrained in my head. So here's some of the things that I was thinking was by doing this play.
I was gonna have a really good 7 too. I was kind
No,
of
I believe it. I believe like my thought process was.
and I'm glad I made the attack the way I did because the other one would have been disastrous.
Yeah, here's the funny thing. I'll tell you the funny thing, which is I tend to value board position slightly more heavily than life. There's a part of my brain
It's sensible, I think.
generally sensible.
Yeah, like
this was
it's very reasonable to spend some life
right.
to improve your board
Right.
position because your board position pays off dividends.
Right. That's right. And so my thought process going into that turn was, how can I put myself in a good position for 7? The thought did not enter my mind at that point, how can I win? That was
Right.
not in my head. And the play...
It didn't look like you could win.
It did not! and then you're like, did that kill me? And I'm like, yeah.
But I wasn't anticipating
Right.
8 attack or whatever.
Yeah, it was 6, but it's still... Well,
it was 8. It was 8.
Yeah, that's right, you're right. It was 8 when you account for the HQ. You're right, and this is the thing, is the reason I played that turn the way I did, my whole intention, at least for the initial... I mean, basically up to and including Waller, was like, well, at least in a pinch, I can KO my 4-drop to flip my 5-drop back up and exhaust Amanda Waller to KO any one of your characters. And then as the turn progressed, I'm like, again, victory wasn't still in my head. It was, maybe it's just better to stun your team, because I can be prickly because of the HQs. And then it was, well, I did draw this one freaking plot twist. Oh, this is a pretty good one. Well, and I guess Amanda Waller can also attack up and get... Cool, that works out. And we're all both stunned, and it's a reset for 7, and I have a shot. And that was my chain of thought until you made the observation.
Well, you made it. You noticed it first, but... you said, are you only at 8? And then I said,
right.
Did you kill me?
Yes, you're right. I did say, are you only at 8? But that was the revelation happening, which is this might be enough. But it really was not. My play was for 7 the whole time. And again, like, that whole play was designed so that I could activate to KO one of your dudes. And I think part of the reason I ended up pursuing the other avenue was because all of your dudes were really good, so KOing one didn't give me leverage. Like, ooh, I took out Cobalt Man, you only have the ridiculous 5-drop and a typical, but in the context of my board position, terrifying 6-drop. So, yeah, that was... I wasn't watching your life total at all for that turn. And I guess it makes total sense that you wouldn't have reinforced Cobalt Man. But that extra damage was something I probably hadn't accounted for when I was initially looking at the life totals.
Were you certain? You probably thought, because the obvious play for me to make would be to attack your 4-drop with my 6-drop, and you were probably expecting to get a surprise counter stun then.
Right, I could have done a similar process to get the counter stun.
And I thought what I was doing was a safer play, and it was a safer play.
Right.
By attacking and basically knowing that I'm risking
Right.
Hawkeye in the sacrifice, thinking there's no way you'll get 8 attack with Amanda Waller
Sure.
and get my 6-drop, so
Sure.
that puts me in the stronger position.
No, your position wasn't wrong. I guess the funny thing about that board state...
So maybe why I said that is maybe you didn't mentally account for getting Hawkeye because I basically handed him to you.
Right, that's a possibility. That combined
getting
with
him
the thought
so easy,
of...
getting him without
yeah.
action.
I don't think you made it. Like, I don't think you made any wrong plays. And again, you were dealing with very limited resources, so to speak, which is absurd. But yeah, that was very, very strange to me. that deck was built with the intention of being that, of like, it kind of starts burning out and falling apart, but can do these huge offensive surges. And silly though it might be, I just kind of discounted that. And it never dawned on me that with the number of locations I had and some of the prickly Checkmate HQ, that I actually had a really significant attack spike. So the funny thing is, like, you know, there's lots of games where it's like, you know, we make brilliant plays, we carefully execute on everything, and I can honestly take no credit. I feel like I won that by accident. The only credit that I can take is I did build this deck. Yes. I built the deck to do the thing that happened, but when I was playing it, I didn't consider that. And so my board position wasn't as consequential as the ridiculous amount of offensive power. And so the only play that really mattered, which I wasn't viewing it that way at the time, again, I was viewing it for board position until that, oh, you have 8 left. But I had to take out Cobalt Man because he's the one that can attack me and not get stunned back. And that's a huge deal. Because you'd done that a couple of turns in a row, so I had ingrained in my head that I'm going to take hits and not be able to get you back because my attack doesn't matter. And it turns out that it really does if I just attack him first. But that, again, that whole thought process was like, well, if I
Cobalt Man is good and he's prickly, but his balance is he's only effective every other turn, really,
right,
as an attacker.
Sure. And he's prickly otherwise. Yeah. Unreasonably so, arguably, but not to the point of being OP. I'm not complaining. Like, he's a dual loyalty character, so I respect that. But the nature, it was so weird because the course correction, the thing that's cracking me up, is the course correction is that I did on that turn was, oh, I've been doing this wrong all along. I can get all his characters. And that's not the thing I was doing wrong. That still was looking at the board position, which was a mistake. And it kind of worked out anyway because you had nothing behind the scenes. You had good visible board position, but not tricks, which are obviously a critical part of the game. So I'll take the W after the previous games,
well,
but you know.
I was going to say, and we should wrap up and say goodnight to our audience soon. But I was going to say, like, the first game was phenomenal.
The first game was really good.
Really good game.
Our math error was, did you win by 1? No, I guess you won by 1. That's great. That's what you won.
The second 2 were garbage, and that happens.
It happens. It happens.
And they were likely garbage because I went, oh, we're having a good game.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
And that game, I can't in good conscience say it's a good game, but it was interesting and I enjoyed it.
It was novel. It was novel.
It was one of the weirdest games I think we've played in a while.
It was a very novel game. It was very weird. It was very weird.
And there were certainly points where I was frustrated, like,
me too.
I'm literally not able to do anything. Like, at the first 4 turns when I'm like, I have no cards I can play, and I'm missing drops. I'm just like, whatever. Let's just get this over with.
Well, and I had a similar set of frustrations because I'm like, my big thing is I'm going to stun my characters and take some extra damage so that I can recruit a big character. And you're like, I'm going to pay a normal amount of resource points and recruit a gigantic character that actually counters your character while I have initiative, which I have.
Oh man, and just God.
It was a very odd last game.
It wasn't all at once, which was the worst part. Like, it was the insult to injury draws, where it's like, all right, maybe this will turn my fate around. Hey, it's 2 things I already have in my resource row and can't play. Cool.
Oh,
you
had
God.
2 beasts in your resource row and 3 of that location. That's not a good draw.
It's not. It is not a good draw. 3 beasts in any situation is not a good draw.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah, hope you had a good time.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
2
we'll
glorious
talk about,
weeks.
Book of Mormon and stuff.
Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night. Good night.